Welcome to the SOLO4LIFE podcast. With me, I have Blake, who does not have a YouTube channel he wants to promote, so no plugs today as well. We're basically just going to go over some topics we've been meaning to discuss, also some new ones. I meant to type one down earlier about
Mm.
remasters. I wanted to go over real quick. Make sure I find my notes again. Where are my notes? Here they are. We tried to record a podcast about a week ago, and
Yep.
my computer decided to update on me instead. So apparently, my computer updating was a high priority.
Yeah. Gotta update those things.
Oh yes. Uh, so I wanted to start out with the Battlefront remaster has been released, and
Mm.
apparently it has been very disappointing for fans.
Been pretty rough.
Is it mainly the online that's rough?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about because I know they included the single player stuff. I'm pretty sure, but I saw some clips on Twitter, and it was really rough. I
Really?
mean, talking about the textures and parts of the level just really not even being there, and it's just it is bad.
That's a
And
shame.
I saw something where they said they took a 6 or 7 gigabyte game that was complete and turned it into like a 40 or 50 something gigabyte game that was not complete, and they wonder how the hell they managed to do that.
Do you think there's a kind of conspiracy behind some of these remasters doing poorly? Do you think
I
perhaps that
wouldn't think
maybe these
so.
some of these games are doing poorly, so gamers are forced to look at the newer games?
No,
No,
that doesn't. I don't see how that could be
it's not really
personally.
consistent enough because I was looking at it. I was like, well, the people don't like the Grand Theft Auto trilogy remaster very much. I didn't have a problem with it, mainly
I
because
didn't like it that much.
by the time I got to it, all the problems were fixed, like the heavy rain and a bunch of weird, goofy glitches, like vehicles shrinking or expanding or something like that. But
Hmm.
the Red Dead Redemption remaster, I
I
don't
heard
really.
it's good.
I heard that. Well, yeah, I heard that was good. So there couldn't be anything with Rockstar in terms of a conspiracy. So I don't know. That's just
And
a thought that popped in my mind.
The Last of Us Part One, like whatever you want to call that remaster, the one for PS5, it's pretty good. I played through it, and it was really good. I showed you, I sent you that one glitch that I had, but other than that,
Yeah.
solid, really good
Well,
game.
that's higher detail remaster, of course. Uh,
Right?
these smaller games, they don't want to put a whole lot more. And if they were going to sabotage it, then why would they put a whole lot of work into it? You
Yeah.
know?
And the Last of Us Part Two remaster, I've only saw good things about it as well. I haven't picked it up yet.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think about what was the most recent soft remaster that did pretty well. Wasn't there a Tiger game? Some kind of popular. Oh, Tomb Raider remaster was fine.
Yep.
Nothing wrong
Yep.
with.
I saw that I think I saw something where they like edited something about Laura Croft or some they changed something about Laura. I can't remember what it was, but
Well, she
some
basically
people.
her model is taken from one of the better games, not the new games, not the new trilogy, but one of the I think Tomb Raider Anniversary or something like that, where she people consider that model the best
Yeah.
in terms of the classic Tomb Raider, and I believe that that's what they use for the remaster trilogy.
Mm-hmm. And I saw somebody complaining about in some level that there was a key that was like there was some sort of key that was hard to see in the remaster or something like that.
Hmm.
Can't really remember all the details, but something similar to that.
Yeah, I can't wait to get it. Hopefully, they release a physical copy. I will definitely pick
Right.
that up because apparently it's a blast. I've only played it maybe once, and I remember the controls being weird. Even back then, I thought they were strange, but I think it was just more of a adapt time that I just wasn't willing to put into it.
I never played the OG Tomb Raiders. I started playing them when they rebooted it. I think it was like 2016 or something.
I played the Tomb Raider for Game Boy Color, and I really enjoyed that. I don't think I got very far in it. I doubt I
Hmm.
even beat it. It was more of a Dragon's Lair for Super Nintendo situation where it's just kind of
Right.
it feels weird to play it that way.
Yeah.
But I remember I really enjoyed the Dukes of Hazzard for Game Boy Color. I didn't realize that it was basically just
What was that, like a driving simulator type of game?
mm, maybe I don't know. I never played the one for PS1, but the Game Boy Color was basically just a top-down view.
Yeah.
But it was basically one of those Game Boy ports where they actually cared and actually made basically a different game, very similar to Wolverine's Revenge, where the Game Boy game is completely different compared to the
Yeah.
PS2 game.
Yeah, they've done that with several games.
Yeah,
I think about it.
it's very interesting. You've had games like even Lego Star Wars that had the Game Boy treatment, and Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, which actually was an exclusive for the Game Boy Advance until
Mm,
they eventually adjusted it for the PS2.
mm. What are some of your favorite games from the Game Boy Advance era?
Oh, Advance, Wario Land 4 definitely. Uh, Castlevania Area of Sorrow.
Mm. I had a buddy that played lots of Castlevania. I never really played them much.
I don't. Those are the only two that really come to my mind.
I played a lot of Pokemon, like a
Yeah,
lot of Pokemon,
yeah. See, I never got
and
never.
then played the. You ever heard the Legacy of Goku games?
No. Is that
It had
is
Legacy. It's Dragon Ball.
yeah.
Yeah, and they had Legacy of Goku 1, which basically covered through the Namek and the Frieza saga, and then Legacy of Goku 2, which did the Android and Cell saga, and then they had a third game in the series. They didn't call it Legacy of Goku; they called it I think Boo's Fury,
Mm-hmm.
and it covered the Majin Buu saga. They were all pretty good games. The first one didn't age as well to me, but the second and third ones they're still pretty good games.
Yeah.
I played them on an emulator a few years ago.
I can't. I can't think of any more. I know. I think my cousin
I think
gave
I
me.
played one of the Max Payne games on Game Boy Advance, and I did not love it.
Hmm. What was that? 2D or top down?
I think it wasn't top down, and it just the graphics looked really tough. It was really tough to play,
Hmm.
and the shooting was really tough.
I'll have to go back on the Switch and see if they added any more Game Boy games. I'm still paying for Nintendo Online. Actually, I totally forgot about it, and I need to play Wario
Seems
Land
like it's
4.
the most useless online. It's like the most useless online, subscription for all the gaming services.
It's the only one I have too.
Yeah,
I think
I pretty
it's
much keep PS Plus and Xbox Game Pass. I pretty much keep those.
I'm kind of scared because I'm so worried that I'm going to lose my progression on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then I'm not going to have a way to re-upload that save file.
Yeah, that would suck.
So I'm kind of considering getting Plus again just for the cloud system.
The cloud saves. Yeah.
I mean, I could. Well, one thing I could do is just upload everything to a flash drive. I could do that. Forgot about that. One thing,
Yeah, you could do that.
Wario Land 4, every time I think about it, I just love the part of the level where it rushes you straight to the beginning again. Have you played it?
Nope.
Oh, it's fantastic. Uh, at the
I also
very
played a lot of there was a Mega Man game I played a lot. Now it just popped into my head. That was another game I played a lot, was one of the Mega Man games.
um, there's a little, it looks like a blue frog, and
Hmm.
at the end of the level, you step on the blue frog's head, and then there's a voice that says "Hurry up!" and it gives you 3 minutes to go back to the beginning. And there's also secret areas that open up, so you got to keep in mind where those areas were, so you can go by there and collect the stuff. 3 minutes seems generous now. I don't know how I would approach it, but it's just the thrill of having to, you got to several
Yeah.
just a few minutes to get out of there. But I've always really respected that aspect because you just don't see a whole lot of games saying, "Oh, you need to go back to the beginning of the level." Plus, you got some extra secrets you could pick up on the way back, and just don't.
Yeah, you
I
don't
don't think
see
I've
that
ever.
much.
I don't think I've ever seen that anywhere else.
Yeah, you don't see that too much,
I don't.
especially nowadays.
I don't think they've added it to Switch yet. The Wario Land 4.
They need to add lots of their Game Boy Game Boy Advance games to the Switch library. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. They're just sitting on all these amazing titles in their vault. It makes no sense. They could make so much money just releasing them on the store digitally.
I think we're starting to see more and more people go back to just older consoles because they're just realizing that
Yeah.
companies are being super slow with porting them over to the newer systems.
My
I
local
mean,
GameStop still has a glass case with nothing but Game Boy Advance
oh,
games in it.
nice. I don't know if mine does. I don't go to my GameStop as often as I
Yeah.
used to.
Yeah, I look at them sometimes, but I don't have a Game Boy Advance anymore, so I don't ever really think about getting them.
Do you have
Although,
local
uh,
game stores?
there's one, it's called Battlegrounds Gaming. They most certainly would have that. They most certainly would have a Game Boy Advance to buy. They have a lot of retro and like a little bit older games, and then they have lots of collectibles and comic books and like D&D stuff. It's a cool place. I like it. They're a tad overpriced, but it's a cool store.
Yeah, you got to be careful sometimes.
Yeah,
Often I'll look at a game. I'm like, yeah, this seems a little higher than it should be, and I'll look it up on like eBay to find like maybe the average price, and I'm like, yeah, that's $20 over than it should be. I mean, as much as I love being able to find something local and remember where I got the game, I still had to consider the price because I'm not gonna pay
yeah,
way over than it should
yeah.
be. I understand that they
Like
need to
they
make
had
money, but still.
the last time I went in there, I sold them some Pokemon cards that I'd found from my childhood days. Got about $150 for them. Uh, and then they had a Dark Souls art book. It was really, really nice. It looked like the it looked like it was leather, but I'm
Ooh,
not quite sure because they didn't let me handle it. It was like $100,
did it?
and yeah, it was like I think it was like at least $100, if not more. But and then I went in there right before Armored Core 6 came out and trying to find because I was trying this before I found out that the Armored Core 5 and 4 were not backwards compatible on Xbox. They did not make the cut. But I was still trying to find a copy of Armored Core 5 and they had one in before, but they were out of them and they wanted like $50 for a copy, which I thought was a little bit high, but I was still willing to pay it to play it. Like again, that was before I found out that they didn't make the cut for backwards compatibility.
Hmm. Yeah, on the hunt for Marvel games is definitely an interesting one because they're just not going to release these again. Probably
No,
Deadpool I'm surprised they ported Deadpool over to PS4. I really should have grabbed that when I had the chance. I found this one store
is it
called
delisted?
I believe so. Yeah, anything after the Disney purchase has been delisted. I believe. I think I can still download maybe Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but I don't think I can
Hmm.
download the other one.
They just put what was it? They just put a Marvel game for on PS Plus, Midnight Suns.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know if I don't know if you're into that. I'm not really.
No, I think that has
I think it's a
microtransactions in it.
card. I think it's a card based game.
I think so. I never I didn't look that far into it. Just
Yeah,
doesn't look that interesting.
a lot of people say it's a fantastic game, like a real gem. But it's just card based games aren't really my thing.
I found out about an X-Men game I'd never heard of before, and actually has a Juggernaut boss fight in it that I've never
Mm,
seen. Because I even looked up on YouTube a compilation of Juggernaut boss fights, and this one wasn't in it. It was X-Men
mm.
Destiny for PS3, and
I've never heard of that either.
believe you can play as a good chunk of the X-Men. Of course, Wolverine is in it, which is definitely sparking my interest. I'm hoping I can
Yeah,
find it somewhere. It's not overly priced from what I've seen on eBay, so hopefully I could find it somewhere. So I've added that to my list.
well, we know that from the Insomniac leaks that the Wolverine game that's coming out maybe next year or 2026 maybe
Hmm.
that Rogue will be playable. So that'll be pretty cool being able to play as Wolverine and Rogue.
Well, they better make her sexy.
Well, I just hope she's not fucking. I just hope she's strong. I just hope she's powerful because she's a freaking Omega level mutant. So I mean, she should be pretty OP.
Yeah, yeah. I'm interested to see how they tackle that. I just hope they don't really ruin her character because
Yeah.
Even
That
seeing
I
lately
don't need
there's
another Mary Jane. We don't need another Mary Jane.
but anyway, before that gets a little too political.
Yeah, yeah,
um, what was I going to say? Oh, I was thinking about earlier today how I'm also looking for the game Skate 3 for
yeah.
PS3.
Hmm.
I've been seeing a lot of footage for it. I'm like, that must be a solid skating game, skateboarding game.
My
It's
wife's cousin in West Virginia, he has a copy. I don't know if it's for PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, but it's something like that. And he has the skateboard controller that
Yep,
you use.
I had that at one time.
Hmm.
But Tony Hawk's Pro Skater pretty much ended with Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. Anything after that, I
Yep.
believe, has died or just wasn't as impactful. And I haven't played American Wasteland yet. I mean, I have it, so
I
I
played
was
it some on PS2.
okay. I see. I was very
I
judgmental
think it
of it
was
when I was a
PS2.
kid. I don't know. It was the whole. Apparently, you can create your own character on there, but for whatever reason, I couldn't see it when I was a kid. So I definitely am excited to try it again because it's pretty much
Yeah.
just like the third and final game in my, from my perspective.
I remember playing Pro Skater 4 on my friend's GameCube and absolutely loving it. I think it was on his GameCube. And then I played Underground, and wasn't there an Underground 2?
Yep, that's
Yeah, I
when they
played both of those.
had more jackass elements in it.
Yeah, yeah. And then I played both of those, and then I played American Wasteland. And I'm pretty sure Underground 2 was my favorite one. It was great. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah, the energy of that game is just fantastic.
Is the Pro Skater remakes that they made, was it they remade 1 and 2, didn't they?
Yep.
Are they worth? I never even played the original 1 and 2. Are they worth getting and playing?
They're fine. I just feel it feels like a lot of the charm is gone. Sometimes I feel like I should just play the PS1 games because you don't get all the songs. At least,
Hmm.
see, that's one thing that really sucks about remasters is the fact you can't get all the songs back because of
Yeah,
licensing issues.
right. Yeah, they had a lot of good songs
Like with San
on the ones
Andreas,
I played.
you know, and probably the other Grand Theft Auto games, you get these remasters, and oh, it turns out they only have 5 songs from. It's pitiful.
Is there any story elements to the first two games, or is it basically just skating and doing combos and
Yeah,
stuff?
just gameplay entirely 100% gameplay focused,
That's okay. That's cool.
which is preferable.
I honestly liked the story elements in the underground
Oh yeah,
games.
yeah, I do too. I love watching those cutscenes because I love seeing the
Yeah.
character I created interacting with the
Mm.
NPCs.
Yep.
um,
And the missions, I liked the missions too. I felt like they were pretty unique.
I would love to see them upgrade the graphics for Tony Hawk Underground 2. That way we can get a
Yeah.
better look for
If they
Bam.
remade that, I'd buy it.
Oh yes, if all the see all the characters in that game do not look like their real life counterparts. It's just really
Right.
like Tony Hawk.
Bam, from
Tony
what I remember, Bam looked kind of like himself.
he looked a little goofy in the
Yeah.
game, but Tony Hawk kind of looks like how Peter Parker looks in the Spider-Man games.
Oh gosh, it's been
Uh,
so long since I played those games.
I always love the beginning of Tony Hawk Underground. It's wild because I was at a pool party and this dude's like, "Hey man, have you played Tony Hawk Underground 2?" I'm like, "I didn't know there was a Tony Hawk Underground 2." This is back when I had no information about games coming
Yeah.
out. And I was like, "Oh shoot, yeah, I'll try it out." And then the opening is where Bam Margera's shoving a chainsaw in everybody's face. I'm like, "This is awesome, man! I need to get this game immediately." And I can't remember when I got it. I believe I got it with the strategy guide. I think it just came out actually.
That's another element of gaming I miss so much. Those strategy guys. I remember walking through Walmart and seeing them.
Oh
Like
yeah,
they'd usually be on an end cap or somewhere, and see them, and for some reason I feel like they were like 40, $50 or something like that. Weren't they something like that?
yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
GameStop even used to sell strategy guides at one time. Well, they still do. They still do because they have like Legend of Zelda
Yeah,
Breath
they
of the
do. The
Wild.
Legend of Zelda ones, yeah, I've seen those. And I was actually looking not too long ago, the Elden Ring guides from Future Press. I know we both have them.
Mm-hmm.
The first version that they came out with like last year, it's sold out already. And now if you wanted to sell it for an upcharge now you could. I've seen people trying to sell it for like $200. But the second edition that they came out with, I can't remember if did it come out at the beginning of this year or the end of last year,
Are you talking
something
about
like that.
Volume 2?
Yeah, Volume 2. Yeah,
Can't remember.
it's still for sale. They still have it's still for sale for the regular price.
That'll be
And then,
funny. That'd be funny
yeah.
if they released the updated version where it includes the Godskin duo.
Well, what I think they will end up doing is because they ended up making a completely separate guide just for the old Hunters DLC for Bloodborne.
Hmm.
So I think they'll end up making a third guide just for Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Yeah, probably. So make sure you jump on that when it comes out.
I definitely will because I got both. I got both of the volumes for Elden Ring, and I got the Armored Core 6 one, and then that's also still for sale on Amazon at its regular price. And then I have the Horizon Forbidden West Future Press Guide, which is also still for sale at its regular price. The first game, Horizon Zero Dawn, its guide is really expensive. It's like if you wanted to buy one, you'd have to pay like $250 for it.
Hmm. Any updates on Shadow of the Erd Tree that you know of?
Not that I know of. I've been, I watch some of these lore guys like Vati and Ziostorm. They're really big into the lore in the games, and they've been picking apart the
Oh yeah.
DLC, trying to get clues. And there's some interesting stuff, but obviously nothing concrete from FromSoft
No, no
themselves.
gameplay details.
Not too much. And like I said, they're really kind of focused on the lore, trying to pick apart stuff from the story and stuff like that. And that's fine, but uh, yeah, they're not really going on much speculation on gameplay. They did, I think, in like the first videos they were making right after the trailer drop. They were talking about obvious new spells or ashes of war that you could see in weapons like the hand to hand combat weapon. Or was it even a weapon, or was it an ash of war? Like, it's kind of hard to tell. And then that giant hippo rhino monster that did that looked like a Crucible Knight incantation. The quills. That's they talked about stuff like that, but
And
you know
it was a huge missed opportunity to not apply summons to your weapon like they did with that axe,
oh yeah, the axe,
where
yeah,
those summons come out and apply extra hits. That
yeah,
is one of
that's a
the
pretty
coolest
unique.
things From Software has
It is,
done, and they did
and
it with just that one weapon.
yeah, and that weapon is really not even considered to be very good. Like like by a lot of the people in the online
Really?
compute community that are, yeah, I've watched a bunch of weapon rankings and tier lists for all the weapons and stuff, and it's consistently at the bottom.
Jeez, it's one of my favorites.
It looks like it's honestly
Have
a
you
lot of fun,
you
especially
seen?
if you can. I've seen your videos, I've seen your clips with it. Yeah, it looks like it would be very satisfying to nail that weapon art.
Oh yeah, I mean, imagine the summons, the stuff they could do with the summons, where you can have like maybe a giant dragon come out and flame up a. And see, that's how I
That
think
would
the
be really
summons.
cool.
That's the only way I would use summons. I've taught you about this before, where I just
Hmm.
if you could time it properly and just have the summon pop in for just a few seconds, that's what I like. I don't want the summon hanging around the entire fight.
you know, I think it's not really a summon, but the dragon head incantations
Hmm.
where that you like your body turns into the dragon head and then it breathes whatever,
Right.
ice, rock, fire, whatever. I think those are pretty neat. But maybe they will end up adding at least one or two more weapons like that the Ashes of War are a summon, because I agree. I think it was a missed opportunity to not do more of that. Like, you have one for an axe, maybe you have one for a spear, and you have one for a straight sword, and maybe one for a great sword, and so on and so forth. Maybe just like having at least one per weapon category. I
Yep.
think that would be really cool.
Who knows? I mean, they might apply it for if they ever do make an Elden Ring 2, unless they just want to keep adding to this Elden Ring and then they want to make something else. That's totally fine. Unless and we might see it in a different game, like the
Yeah,
upcoming sorcery based From
yeah,
Software game.
that's. I think that might have been debunked,
Oh,
but
really?
yeah, the Spellbound game, I think that might have been debunked as a
Huh.
as fake, but they definitely do have a new IP in the works, and that kind of segues into one of my topics I had written down. What you were speculating might be From Software's next game, or what were your hopes or wants be from Soft's next game? What would you like it to be like?
I would definitely want them to kind of focus more on something that I'm not comfortable with Sekiro, when it comes to deflecting. Sekiro helped me dive into deflecting a lot more, and perhaps maybe that's why I was kind of hoping Spellbound would come out and convince me, to enjoy magic a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Or like
Um,
maybe with Armored Core 6, maybe convincing you to like projectiles.
I don't. I'm not really convinced of that just yet.
Yeah.
I'm still not a fan of bullet storms or bullet hell
Yeah,
games.
no, I hear you. It took me a long time to really get into Returnal because of just how crazy the bullet hell would get.
And Armored Core 6 is not that bad with the bullet hell system. It's
It's
actually,
not too bad.
fairly generous. It's just whenever I
Mm-hmm.
get hit by something, I don't know where it's coming from. I just kind of rubs me the wrong way.
You find yourself utilizing the hard lock on or the soft lock usually.
Um, I'm not exactly sure. I haven't played in a month or so.
I
I
got you.
I definitely lock on. That way, my my projectiles make their contact, or at least try to. Like I told you before, I use weapons to confuse the AI. I just
Mm-hmm.
That's just the kind of approach I like to use. Like whatever confuses them is what I want to use.
Yeah. No, that's a good strat.
So I definitely need to jump back onto that, especially with the new video ideas I want to make, where it shows where I display every item that's basically in every game, which is pretty interesting to find. I was actually trying to find one the other night. I'm like, is this in every game? And then one game or two doesn't have it, so I had to scrap it. But there's definitely two things that I would love to make a video on that I, I think people would find interesting. I just need to make it shorter because the binocular telescope thing, it was a bit too long. I made the challenges too long for myself, so
No.
perhaps the next one I just won't add challenges. I'll just kind of just show where these locations are, because I mean surprisingly no one's made a video like that, because I guess they're just not
Yeah,
putting in the research to find out that they're in every single game.
probably not.
And I think it would be
But that
interesting to
is
see from
interesting.
Demon Souls to Armor Core 6, they still have this exact same item. But I won't say
It is
what it
really
is
cool.
here. Yeah. Alex said he'll be here in an hour. So he'll pop on for.
Maybe we'll see him.
Yeah. Hopefully his mic is good.
Yeah,
So yeah, like I said, Magic would be a great way to
it
create a
would be.
title.
I think, and I don't, maybe, hopefully they're wrong about it being fake, but and maybe it's not fake. Maybe just the title and the premise that came out, Spellbound, and the premises they were talking about. Maybe that was just what was fake. Maybe they are indeed working on some sort of magic oriented game, kind of like that Immortals of Avium that came out last year. And I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe something sort of like that, because that was like a first person shooter where instead of guns you shoot magic from your hands.
Hmm.
So I don't think they would do something like that
Well,
necessarily, but
I wonder if From Software is maybe having to make adjustments since a Hogwarts Legacy, because that game did very well. And perhaps then
yeah,
that game was pretty close to their ideas, that he might have to go back to the drawing board with some things.
I really wish that they would have, and I wouldn't normally want, something like this, like for games, but I wish that they had added more spells in as later as DLC, because I kind of got really bored with the spell selection, and I honestly got bored with all the side missions and everything. The story wasn't as engaging as I was hoping it would be. And like I said, I ended up returning the game before I even finished it. Uh, how much I was it was actually my biggest disappointment of the year,
Which
as
game
a
is this?
huge Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, okay. You mentioned DLC, and I was trying to remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I was hoping I would have really liked to see them added like spell packs as a
Oh,
DLC, because like there's so many spells in the world, in the universe of Harry Potter, and they hit a lot of the big ones. They had some good ones, but there was still room for a lot more.
I think Hogwarts Legacy is really, you kind of have to look at it as a testing ground. I think they're definitely going to build
Yeah.
something much bigger next time.
I hope so. But you
And
did you see where the CEO of WV Games or whoever it was, somebody of that nature, he talked about how they're going to try to focus on live service moving forward.
uh, mm,
Yeah. So that makes me very, very skeptical about what they're going to do with the next Harry Potter game
well,
because everybody was clamoring for a PvP mode in this game. Everybody was like, "Oh, let's do PvP." Yeah, PvP. And I don't think there was, right? Was there?
no, I mean, if there was any, I didn't find out about it. I mean,
Yeah, because they had the dueling stuff, but I think that was just PvE, wasn't it?
yeah, just
Yeah.
arena dueling and just
Yeah.
squad dueling.
So maybe that's what they focus on for the next games, like maybe some sort of MMO PvP sort of deal,
Mm.
which might be interesting and it could be good, but I would like to see them expand on the open world single player because the open world was fantastic. I mean, the castle was incredible. Hogwarts was just a
Oh yeah,
joy to explore.
and it
uh, Hogsmeade and the surrounding countryside, the Forbidden Forest, everything was great about that. But it was just the missions, the side missions, and the main story. It was really lackluster for me.
it worked fairly well organically for the open world. You had a little bird that
Yes,
came out of the book and showed you where to go next. I love that.
that was not the dinner. Ruby, you already ate dinner, and I'm on the phone. No. You've had dinner and multiple snacks. She is always hungry.
Oh really?
Oh my gosh, dude. She is a bottomless pit.
um, but of course, we get. I hate seeing invisible walls. I really
Yeah.
wish they. I mean, I guess you can't really avoid it, especially if you just want things to be more open to make the world seem bigger. But I mean, especially when you have Harry Potter with Hogwarts Legacy, where you have the
Flying
broom
around on
flying, yeah,
brooms.
flying around on a
Yeah.
broom. But I feel like there is something you could do with that. You
Yeah,
could
well, I mean, they
probably,
didn't do. Are you talking about with the invisible walls or with the broom flying?
yeah, the invisible walls. I'm just saying
Yeah,
you could, like Jack and Dexter, for instance, they have an organic way for bringing the player back to the island. If you swim out too far, a giant fish will eat you.
yep, yeah, right, right. I think there's several games that do something like that.
I believe Grand Theft Auto, the boat will actually start sinking in Grand Theft
Mm,
Auto 5,
yeah,
and instead of just it being an infinite amount of ocean, the boat
yeah,
will
or just
sink and a
swimming into
shark
a
will
wall.
attack you. It's very,
Yeah,
yeah. But perhaps with how
echoes. No, sorry about that.
perhaps with Hogwarts Legacy, you could fly over a bunch of trees that's forbidden for you to land in, and then if you try to go too
Hmm.
far, then something mystic would drag you back or something like
Right,
that.
like a big werewolf or
Yeah,
something.
and people will remember that. They won't remember,
Yep.
oh, the invisible wall. They'll just remember, oh, yeah, I can't go over there, I guess. So it's just
Yeah,
can't stand it. And there are a
and it
lot of
doesn't
little
make any
nitpicks about
sense
gaming that you can't
flying around on a broom.
do it now.
It would, and it doesn't make any sense flying into an invisible wall on a broom in the air in a magical setting. It's just like that's very immersion breaking.
Oh yeah, it'd be funny if you hit a visible wall and you fall off the broom.
Yeah, that would be something. Now, oh, now one way they could do it is if you're flying too far, and then like there's some sort of dark wizard on the ground that shoots a spell at you to make you fall
Yeah,
off your broom, like you just said. Now
yeah.
that could be cool.
It shows a quick shot of Voldemort, and he just
Yeah, that
shoots
would
you.
be a Death Eater. That would be wild. Another missed opportunity they had with the game was the omission of Quidditch. That was a big weird thing. Like, oh, no Quidditch. Like, come on,
Yeah,
guys.
I guess they just didn't have it fully developed yet, and maybe they just
Yeah,
scrapped it because they weren't sure exactly how. I don't think it would be that complicated though. You just have a little
no, I wouldn't think it's like a
golf
mini
ball
game.
size. Yeah, it's just I don't know. That is a weird one because I feel like I don't
Yeah,
know. Have they? We'll have to try to find an explanation for that if they have already released that information.
they might have. I'm not sure, but yeah,
But that would be. I mean, surely the second game will have it. I don't think they could just pass that
yeah.
along saying, "Oh, we just won't have Quidditch again this year."
Yeah, no, I don't think they could get away with that without
No.
people being like, "What are you guys doing?"
And of course, the Hogwarts Legacy worked fairly well with the self-imposed challenges. I know you probably
Right?
don't.
Yeah, I seen the video with the troll.
Yeah, that was the most fascinating one because it just
Hmm.
the combat time value I feel like was respected, maybe a little bit longer than it should have been, but my goodness, I must have spent 2 days practicing that just to get it right.
And you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it. I will remember that. Getting the positioning right, making sure that the troll wasn't going to outrun me, and thankfully I could throw
Hmm.
barrels at him. If it wasn't for the barrels and object throwing, it could have been done. As far
Yeah.
as I
Did
know,
you finish the game? Did you finish
yeah,
the
I did.
story?
I did. I was
Yeah.
just, I they really should have worked. They could have put a lot more work into that final bit of the game because it was really messy. It was really messy. It's where hard mode really started to show its ugly colors.
Hmm.
Things
Just
just
health sponges.
well, no, it's just the game started bugging out with me.
Oh.
Enemies would stay in place and still they were still able to be target locked on, and the there's one interaction in particular where there's actually 3 phases instead of two, but it kept bugging out on me on that third phase, that third and final phase. So I had to switch over to normal mode, and everything worked just fine. And I don't really understand why, but um, it's funny because I mean it shouldn't. If the game is buggy, then why would it amplify more on hard mode? But
Hmm.
um, but I think I stayed on normal mode after that, and then the final boss was terrible. It looked like it was the level design was just half baked. I found spots that
Right.
looked like the whole arena looked like it was made in that game Dreams,
Oh no.
and the boss. I don't know. I barely remember anything about the boss fight. It just wasn't anything spectacular, and it just kind of
Yeah.
copied something from another boss fight that did a lot better. Because I love the combustion opportunities where the balls are color coded, where you have to use the very specific spell that's that color as
Hmm.
well, fire it at the sphere, and it
Yeah.
combusts and applies damage to the boss. I love that. But then they did it
Hmm.
again with this boss, and just feel like it didn't fit just right. I wish it had a different kind of spell gimmick.
Yeah. I would have liked. I would like to see a revamp of the entire spell slot system because only being able to access 8 spells, I think it was something like 8 at a time, also was not something I loved. Because I just feel like you're a wizard and you know all these spells, but you can only slot 8 and use 8 at a time. I didn't like that limitation personally. I
Hmm.
felt like you should be able to use any spell at any time. And maybe you would have had to have another button input to bring up another slot, another few slots. But I feel like there's some way you could work with that
And
because I did not like going back and forth and picking and choosing what spells to use and not use. I didn't love that.
I would love to see them do this button input thing. Whenever you had to put in cheat codes for the PS2, you had to do them really quickly or it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
I would love to see
yeah,
that for heavy spells, where you had to put in
that'd
a
be
button
cool.
combination in for them to work. And while you're
Or
doing it,
like maybe one of the unforgivable curses spells.
yeah, something like that. Something that you got the master in order to execute. I think that'd be spectacular. If they don't do that in the next game,
Yeah.
it'd be a huge miss.
I
Um,
guess the way they kind of balanced the unforgivable spells was I think they were on a longer timer or something cooldown.
yeah, I mean you would
I don't
still
know.
have
Did
to
you
limit
ever
them.
did you ever unlock those?
Uh, I think no, I don't think I got all of them
Hmm.
because I mean once I
I didn't unlock any of them. I quit playing before I got that far.
yeah, once I defeated the final boss, I was done with the game.
Yeah.
I like I said, I enjoyed the mess out of it for the most part, but I really hate it when hard mode just doesn't work. It's like, man, why can you guys put some extra time play testing this out? And I know they play tested, but I just think that they use a bunch of OP equipment to get through the play testing,
Probably.
and that way they don't run into any of the bugs.
Hmm.
So we'll move on to another topic. What do we got? What did I put down? Get off of here. We get to record my Santa Claus DVD secret. Um,
Oh yeah.
so I'll just run through that real quick. So on the Santa Claus DVD, there's a little mini game where you avoid running into chimneys, you avoid running into birds, and then you deliver presents at the right houses. The chimneys are very specific looking, and you go through about I think 3 stages, and I mean, it can be a little bit troublesome. You have to time it just right because sometimes if you wait too long, then you're going to end up hitting something like the birds or the chimney. And eventually, once you get past all of it, without crashing, you also have to answer trivia questions. I forgot to mention that last time. They'll ask
Okay.
you, I think, 3 questions after every
Like about
stage.
the movie?
Yep, and they're all super simple. It's nothing complicated. It's
Right.
pretty much the easiest thing about the mini game. And then after you play through it all, you beat it, you unlock a secret retro, classic Santa Claus cartoon. And
Yeah.
we were talking before how I wonder how many people have actually seen this because the game is kind of difficult just only because of the registering with the buttons on the controller.
Hmm.
And I was playing it on
Yeah,
the
probably not too many.
PlayStation controller, so I'm
Right. Imagine trying to do it on a TV remote.
yeah. It might not be that bad, but I wonder how many people have actually found. I'm sure there's one person somewhere on the internet that's found it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Maybe they have a Reddit post, but no one's responded to it because no one else has done it.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll have to look that up sometime, and if I don't see it anywhere on the internet, maybe I'll just make a little YouTube short about it. Hey,
That would be cool.
did you know if you go to the
Maybe
Santa
do it in
Claus
your grandpa voice.
did you know that when you go to the Santa Claus DVD and get the little mini game they got on there, you get to unlock a classic retro mod kind of day cartoon about Santa Claus. Oh, the
That's
kids
exactly
will
it.
love that, all right.
You got it. You nailed it. That's exactly how you should do it.
Yeah, I want to do a Elden Ring playthrough with that voice. I think that would be fun.
Oh, that would be like an episode, like upload different episodes or stream it, or how would
Yeah,
you do it?
I would just kind of record maybe an hour and just clip out what I feel would be the funniest moments where Grandpa's like
Yeah.
maybe fighting Morgan. Dag nabbit, he knocked me down pretty good there. I get back up and
Yeah.
see if I can whack him a few more times. He might just get him to fall over that blasted Margit.
Hit you with one of his super delayed attacks.
Yeah. Oh, come on, swing. Where are you taking so
Yeah,
long for?
exactly.
You're slow as
That would be
molasses,
good.
Margit.
Or like when you're fighting Radon and he smashes his horse down into the dirt.
Where'd your little horse buddy go, son?
Oh gosh, that's hilarious. There's lots of comedic moments in the game if you really pay attention.
Oh yes, definitely. Very funny. Uh, so that was Santa Claus DVD.
Did you happen to see the leaks for the potential PS5 Pro specs?
No, I mean, I don't really. I mean, what are they gonna do? Just increase FPS or something?
I think the big focus is from what everybody is talking about is an increase in resolution, like to have through 4K, like native 4K, and they'll have and then AI upscaling, which would help with resolution and frame rate a little bit. But everybody's saying how it'll be a decent upgrade to the GPU, but not really much of an upgrade to the CPU. So CPU intensive games like GTA 6 will probably still run at 30 FPS. And, everybody's like, well, then what is even the point?
Yeah, I'm def. Unless there are exclusives for it, I'm not going to get it.
Yeah, that they really, Sony's first party really needs to step up and show us something this summer because I'm kind of like, what that showcase last summer was a joke.
At least give
And
us something to look forward to in the next few years, because I mean, I want
yeah,
to catch up on a few things.
yeah, I mean, and Xbox kind of screwed up when they started announcing games, 3, 4 years ahead of time, like Hellblade and other stuff like that. But I mean, surely if they show us something this year that those games aren't going to be 3, 4 years out. They'll be out in the following year or 2 years from now at the most. Echo, enough. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down.
Is
Sorry
that
about that.
talking to your imaginary friend?
I'm one of my dogs.
The controller update that I noticed today actually updated the mic quality apparently.
Oh, on the DualSense.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, I wonder
Yeah, I
if
seen that update yesterday.
if I could, I could hook it up to my PC. I wonder if it would be a better mic. Just during the podcast, just talking to my mic, talking to the
That would be
controller.
funny. I've used the built-in mic quite a bit, and it's not bad, but I feel like it it gets worse over time. Like I remember, I have the DualSense Edge, the Pro controller now, but the controller that came with the PS5 out of the box, I can take. I've had it now for over 2 years, and I can tell a big difference in how like loud the speaker is. Like I feel like the speaker has gotten quieter over the last couple years.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if that's the just it wearing down. I don't know how that could really be, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe the update would fix that. As I haven't used it in a while because it started to. It took 2 years, but it finally started to get some stick drift, and that's why I ended up upgrading to the Edge because of the removable modules.
How how much do how much do those joysticks cost?
I think they're like 15 or 20 bucks.
Mm.
Yeah,
That
the
still
modules.
that
Yeah,
still hurts a little
it's
bit.
not. It's
It's
yeah, but
definitely
it's
not as
better
bad as
than
70,
buying.
but
Yeah,
60 or
it's better
70.
than buying. Yeah, exactly. But my biggest issue with this Pro controller is the battery life. It's like half. It's like half the battery life of the regular DualSense.
Well, have you tried reducing some of the features on the controller?
I have not, and that is something that I could definitely try. Like I think I can turn down the brightness of the LED lights,
Yep.
and
And you can
and
reduce the
I could,
vibrations.
yeah, or turn them off,
And you got
and I think you can
the adaptive
turn down
triggers.
the volume of the, yep, and you can turn down the volume of the mic, the speaker, and yeah, there's several things I could do that would probably prolong the battery life, but just I just feel like being a pro controller that costs $200 freaking, your battery life shouldn't be half of the base model controller. Just that's just wrong.
Yeah, batteries are pitiful,
Yeah.
especially in just these devices with phones. I mean, I got to charge my phone all day long. I mean,
Mm. Yeah. You have an Android or an iPhone?
Android.
Yeah. My iPhone, it's got a pretty decent battery, but I usually have to charge it like twice a day.
What? Yeah, that's about where I'm at. Where I had to charge it twice a day. Do you keep the brightness halfway down?
I usually do, unless I'm watching YouTube videos, then I like to turn it up to the max just so I can, I don't know. I just like to, I feel like I can see all the details properly.
Yeah, I definitely don't mind wired controllers because of that reason. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. This DualSense Edge basically stays wired in because of that vital battery life.
heck, I even got a wired knockoff PS3 controller just so I could play my PS3, and
Yeah.
it's got some kind of connection issues where if I bend the wire connection a little bit much, where it makes the
Hmm.
contact with the controller, it disconnects. So I kind of had to play it like this because my PS3 is way over there. I need to relocate it so it's a little bit closer. But
Yeah.
it's been nice being able to access the PS3 again. That's because
Oh, yeah.
I
I
can't
bet.
God of War playing trying to play God of War on PlayStation Plus or wait, well back when I last played it was on PlayStation Now. It was terrible, especially with the button inputs where you had to tap circle. The delay would
Yeah.
cause you to just have so many struggles getting just a door open. So
Hmm.
that's where I just stopped playing God of War. Actually, I was playing God of War 2, but then I
What do you
jumped.
think of those rumors that they're remastering the OG God of War trilogy for PS5? Are you hoping for like a Last of Us Part One kind of redo, or just like a basic port, kind of like Red Dead Redemption One?
I would just love a basically a remix. Kind of, it's. I don't think there's really any good examples of a remix. Maybe Spyro, and Crash Bandicoot. Those are, you know, sort of remixes because they add new content, they add different aesthetics.
Right.
Something like that. Get rid of the ridiculous beam stuff Every time I play God of War and I had to do the beam crossing is the worst part of the game for me.
Or is it like in Dark Souls when you have to walk across
No, it's
beams?
not even. No, that's I love that. I don't mind that. I mean,
Okay,
did you see the short where I just run across those?
I think I've seen them. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. People,
I don't really mind them either. I don't really mind them
I
either.
love the comments on that. What's funny is how you can quit and restart before you even hit the ground on that. You still got to be fast, but I find that funny whenever I fall off and I
Yeah,
just quit and restart
gravity is the biggest boss in the
and
game.
I found out you can actually jump right before the last sanctuary. Oh wait, before the last hooded guy. I forgot what they're called, the enemy types. Before the last one, you can actually jump off the beam right to the fog gate. So that's what I do now.
Oh,
Kind of like
that's
I
interesting.
found it. I found
Which game?
it's got a sorry, Dark Souls.
The first one? Which
Yeah,
boss?
Anne Orlando. No, no, it's the Anne Orlando
Oh,
beams where you have those white dudes,
yeah, the painted guardians.
painted guardians. That's it. So
Yeah.
before the last one, you can actually jump off the beam to the right and land right in front of the fog door. It's a spectacular skip. I love it. I found it
Huh.
when I was watching a speed run because I wanted to see. Because usually, if I'm having problems with an area, I'm like, I feel like this is an antiquated problem. I need to look and see how people are handling it now. And it turns
Yeah.
out you can actually make it. There's some you can make a nice little jump.
Do
That's
you
where
like skips in the games like that?
when it's just convenient. When I find myself running into a spot that's always giving me some kind of problem, I'm like, well, there's got to be some kind of bypass where you don't have to run into the issues all the time. Like there was actually several things I learned from speedruns that's actually quite convenient, where it's not cheating the game. Where you're not having to glitch through a wall or having to duplicate items. It's just simple little shortcuts that people have discovered. Like where how you have to get to the rooftop to get the key from Ingward in the New
Yeah.
Londo ruins.
Yeah.
You can simply just shoot him with arrows, and he'll die, and you'll get the
And
key.
you just get the
Yeah,
key.
you don't have to deal with the
Oh, okay.
ridiculous ghosts climbing up the ladder and
Oh
just
man,
stabbing you. That is one of the worst spots in the game because
it's pretty frustrating.
yeah, it's terrible. And you had to sit there and fight the ghosts that go through walls and you can't see them. It's
And there's so many of them,
oh
and
yeah.
and it's like as soon as you come into their area, they're gonna follow you like throughout the
Hmm.
entire map.
And once you think they're
That
all
entire map.
gone, one just sneaks up on you and one shots you.
Yeah, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
There's so
So
many. What's that item? And you have to have a specific item to even hit them. What is it? The
oh
something
yeah, the
curse,
tranquilance of peace or something like
transient
transient
curse.
transient curse. That's
Yep,
it. So
yep.
yeah, um,
It's funny though. That's kind of like the concept. That's like kind of like the beginning concept for the headless in Sekiro, because you kind of need the defined confetti to do any real damage to them unless you're just
yeah.
parrying all their attacks.
Yeah, that's why I never did put a whole lot of effort into the headless because you have to apply an item to fight them. And they're
Yeah,
really cool looking. They're really eerie looking.
yeah.
The way their hair just it's
And the
just
music,
yeah.
yeah,
They're
they're a
headless, but
lot
their hair is
easier.
still on their back.
The ones underwater are a lot easier to deal with because I think you don't have to use divine confetti to attack them while you're well, the ones that are underwater.
Oh really?
I don't think so. I might be remembering that wrong, but there is definitely one aspect of the underwater headlesses that are much easier than the ones that are above ground.
Yeah, I remember when I first tried to fight a headless, it just reminded me too much of Neo, and I was like, I don't like this. The
Yeah, and
whole
I was
area of
thinking,
effects stuff that it does, and Neo does a ton of that, and I hate it.
yeah, speaking of Neo, one of my longest running questions about Rise of the Ronin was whether it was going to have that Neo and Diablo esque loot system, and
Mm.
it is going to have it.
R.I.P.
And it's not. They said that it's going to be like a light version. It's not going to be as much as Neo, and definitely not as much as Diablo, but it's still going to be there. Like they're gonna, every enemy's gonna drop loot, and the loot's gonna have different like rarities and stuff like that.
I'm having that problem with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, where I'm just getting a bunch of stuff that I don't need. I'm sure someone
Yeah,
finds it valuable, but I pick up something, I'm like, what does this do? It looks like the exact same thing, but with a different name. Uh, a lot of material is useless. When I just usually apply it just so I could have something on my sword. It looks pretty, but
yeah.
most of the time I'm just collecting things. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just gonna fill up my inventory, I guess.
Sometimes I feel like I need to try and get into Final Fantasy VII Remake again.
Or
I
did you
I
stop?
just I never even started them.
Oh,
Actually,
you haven't?
I said again, but I just I think I loaded the game up one time and I was just like, you know what, I'm not into this at all, and just turned it off.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know because I never played Final Fantasy, and everybody says that the seventh one is the best one. Most people say the seventh one is the best one, and but you know, I was never really into turn based combat games outside of Pokemon, and I guess the remake kind of changes it up. It's a little more action oriented,
Well, it's not
but
turn based. It's more freestyle.
right,
You get
and I also don't love managing party members and their inventory and their loot. I don't love that. Uh,
yeah. I don't like that either. I don't really dive into that much with Final Fantasy VII. I usually just kind
That's
of
what
go
got
and
me out of Dragon Age Inquisition was I finally just got sick and tired of updating all the loot for my party. I was just like, I'm sick of this. I'm done. And I was like 2/3 of the way through that game.
mm, I never did try it.
It's a good game. It really is. And if you are one of those people that really likes building your party and stuff like that, then you're gonna love the entire experience because you know the gameplay might have aged a little bit, but it's a fun game and it's got a good open world. It's got good combat, and the dragon fights in particular are spectacular. But and the story's engaging. But but it was the only Dragon Age game I ever really got into. I tried to play the second one, and the gameplay was just it was just too dated. Actually, I think it was the first one I tried to play, Origins. The gameplay was just too dated. I just couldn't get into it.
Hmm.
But yeah, just managing party members and their inventory and their loot and stuff like that. It's not very appealing to me. But everybody is just raving about Rebirth. Although I've seen some people, you know, try start to pick things apart. Like you have like, you know, some things get really repetitive, and the open world isn't really that great all the time. But
Yeah, there are a lot of road speed bumps in the open world. There's this one place. I think it's the second time the game opens up, and you got these sections where the chocobo goes up a wall and is super slow. Something about climbing in this game is moves like molasses. And you would think with these chocobos they should be able to at least fly
yeah,
or something like that, but they just
just clunk
slowly.
along.
Yep. And maybe they'll release an update where you can climb faster or something like that.
I'm sure they'll update it some, but well, maybe not because they never fixed the technical issues for Final Fantasy 16. So I don't
Hmm.
know because you know the performance mode ran like ass on release, and we're like 9 months later, and it still runs like ass. They never patched it.
The
Probably
platforming
never will at this point.
There's this one area in particular where you get to play as Yuffie, and the platforming is actually pretty good. And
In 7 or in
in
16,
Rebirth,
right?
and you get this grapple hook, and you get to grapple along things, and
Yeah, that's right. Doesn't each party member have a different utility like that?
no, pretty much once you grab the grapple hook, you can use it whenever.
Oh,
You
okay.
just you find it first with Yuffie, and then you just have it
I
with
thought I
her.
remember hearing in one of the state of plays they talked about each party member has a unique like traversal mechanic or some sort of unique mechanic about all to itself.
I don't recall anything unique in terms of traversal, unless they're just talking about the way they walk.
I don't know.
The way
Maybe
they
they're
dodge.
yeah.
Barrett fat rolls.
Oh,
Red 13 probably has the lightest roll. You know.
yeah. Is he always walking on all fours or is he ever bipedal?
Yeah. It's funny when he's riding a chocobo. He's in a position the same way as everybody else, basically, just like a human.
But when he walks, he's always on all fours.
Yeah, yeah. Except for that clip, you remember that short I made where I compared it to Scooby Doo, the live action movie?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only time you
That
see
was
him.
oh yeah, when they're all dressed up.
Yeah, where he's dressed up like
Yeah.
a Shinra soldier.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool.
Did you have any? I know you have another topic. What do you got?
What are your expectations in the next Shadow of the Erdtree trailer? Because the wording from it that's the first trailer definitely implies we'll get a second one, maybe at Summer Games Fest right before the release. Because doesn't it come out June 21st?
Is it June?
I know it's in June, but I can't recall the exact day. I think it's June 21st.
So Last Faith comes out after that.
And
Dang, I'm gonna totally forget about the Last Faith. I'm probably gonna have it pre-ordered, and then I totally forget that it's on the way.
the physical edition.
Yes, ooh, I'm
Yeah.
so excited about that. I love the demo for the Last Faith. That first boss was spectacular. I cannot wait to fight him again. I need yeah, the I'm gonna have to get the special, the new Crocs edition. I think is what it's called, because you get that really
Mm,
cool physical copy cover. It's not
yeah.
a steel book; it's just a better cover, and I want it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that Summer Games Fest is going to be the first week of June. So, and if I'm correct, the DLC comes out June 21st. I believe that's the date. But so I bet that's when we get a more in-depth look at the actual gameplay.
Mm.
And I'm hoping that I'm just hoping that they're more, because the first trailer looked like a bunch of B-roll. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just, and it wasn't very like in-depth B-roll either, just kind of like little highlights here and there.
Well,
But
do
I just want something more in-depth.
yeah, they might display a very specific part of the game to show off.
Yeah,
Maybe just one area,
right. Like a
and
5 minute gameplay. Like, here's 5 minutes of the first area in the DLC.
mm-hmm.
Like, that would be cool.
We'll probably see a lot of the of one boss in particular.
Right.
They'll
Like
have an
like didn't they
area.
show off didn't they show off Godric a lot in the
Yep, yeah,
before Elden
Godric.
Ring came off?
Godric was the one that we
Yeah.
saw a lot. With Dark Souls 2, the Mirror Knight was one they showed off a lot. That was actually in one
Yeah.
of the demos that you were able to access at E3. Is where you got to
Mm,
fight the Mirror Knight.
right. Okay.
That boss, by the way, that's
It's a good boss.
out of all the boss fights I did the no roll challenge on. That one was my favorite one.
Did
That
you
one was
ever have it connected to the online where a different player would come in and he'd fight
yeah, yeah,
alongside the boss?
yeah. I did that back in the day. I don't do that now,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was definitely cool. I mean, most of the time they were terrible. You know, they weren't very
Do
good
you did you
players.
think that they did that mechanic better in Dark Souls 2 or in Demon Souls with the was it that monk boss or something like
I
that?
think yes, Dark Souls 2 was the coolest because you
Yeah.
saw the
He
the
puts his
player
shield
knocking down on
down.
the mirror and they bust out.
Yeah.
I really think that was my favorite execution. The monk is fine,
Yeah.
but I don't. I just having to deal with the
He just like
projectiles.
magically summons him in as soon as the fight starts.
Yeah, and you always have the what's it called, the soul mass, the magic
Yeah.
projectiles. You automatically have that. And plus, then they repeated it again in Dark Souls 3, Ring City. So I didn't like that one. I think that one was the worst one, really.
Oh yeah, Filianor. Yeah, with Filianor, the adjudicator, whatever
Half
it's
light,
called. Yeah, something like that.
half.
Yeah.
Did they do it again outside of that?
I think the Filianor, whatever it is, that part in the Ring City that you're talking about, and then the Miranite, and then the monk fight, whatever it's called in Demon Souls. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Mirror Knight definitely my personal favorite when it comes to having
It was
fights.
very good. Yeah, it was very good. Yeah, I think you're probably right about it being the best. Yep. And it's like gosh, Dark Souls 2 is such a long game, it feels like.
Really?
And it's only like, I mean, it feels like it to me because I remember my first playthrough. By the time I got to Dranglake Castle, I was like, man, I got to be pretty close to the end of the game. Nope, that's like the midpoint.
Well, I mean, you see the Draglet Castle. I mean, you eventually just return to it, so you already have the
Yeah,
final area unlocked by the time you kill the
right.
four main bosses. Because you got the spider, you have
Mm-hmm.
Old Sinner, you have
Rotten.
Rotten, who was the fourth one? The Lost is it the Lost Giant or is he just part of the last lineup?
I
No,
think
no,
he's
he's the
just
last lineup because you
brutal.
have to
Yeah.
activate something in the spider room.
Are you talking about the memories?
Old Iron the Iron King.
Oh, the old Iron King. That was it. Yeah, old Iron
Yeah,
King.
you
Yep.
access the memory. You have to do. I think you get that key, and then
Yeah,
you unlock the memories. I think.
it's something like that. It's been a while since I played Dark Souls 2.
There's a lot more item based routes in Dark Souls 2 than I remember.
Hmm.
Um, you got the whole thing with King Vendrick. You got to. I think is he optional or do you have to kill him? I can't
Yeah, he's
remember.
optional. He's
Yeah.
optional. If you want to kill him, then you really need to get those giant souls. Otherwise, his health is just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a boss that has one of the rarest attacks in the From Software lineup. It
I remember
seems
you. I think I've heard you mention that before. What is
it's
the
some
attack you're
kind of
speaking of?
curse attack. He throws a little
Oh,
ball at you and you're cursed.
yeah,
I'm glad that they kind of brought the rare attacks back, but it's nowhere near as much as it was in Dark Souls or Dark Souls 2. But
it would have been
sometimes,
really cool if you could have gone in the memory of Vendrick and fight him in his prime, and then his bodyguard. I think I can't remember his name, but then he comes in. Velstadt, maybe was it Velstadt?
yeah, Billstat. He's the one with the
And then
big mace.
big bell hammer, the big donger hammer.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, like you get him halfway, you get Vendrick halfway down, or maybe he's a 2 health bar fight, and you get his first health bar down, and Velstock comes in to help save his king. You got to fight both of them in like a Ornstein and Smo type situations.
Always
That'd have been
thought,
interesting.
always thought it was cool how you could actually see Velastat in the memory.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and I actually every time I'm in the memory, I try to walk towards him, but you can't get too close. It just
Yeah,
takes you out of the
it's
memory.
kind of eerie in a way because you can't make it to
Yeah,
him, but he's just
it just
standing there.
it just shimmer. He just shimmers away. He just
Yeah,
shimmers away.
and someone actually hacked the game where they kill Velastat right there, but nothing happens. It
Yeah.
just sends you back anyway.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, it would make sense that
Now,
you can't
you
get
do remember
anything.
that Velastat is basically a reimagining of Vendrick, right, from Demon Souls?
Oh,
Is
you
that
talking about the
Vendrick?
dude that protect? You talking about the dude that protects the little maiden girl in
Yeah,
the end of the swamp? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's him.
definitely.
I always thought
I
that was
can't remember
cool.
his
It's just,
name.
I think it's. I'm pretty sure it's Vendrick. I always loved his armor. He wears
Yeah,
a
it's a
helmet.
really cool armor.
Vendrick.
Do you ever wish that they would do like a world tendency mechanic again, or you think that
Oh,
should stay dead with Demon Souls?
the king is Vendrick. Sorry,
Yeah, then the King in Dark Souls 2 is Vendrick.
I
Yeah.
can't remember what the knight's name is. Sorry, what was your question?
Uh, do you ever wish they would try to rework and re-implement the world tendency mechanic, or do you think that should stay dead in Demon Souls?
Oh yeah, I would love to see that again.
Yeah, I think it was a little vague, but I think it was a really interesting mechanic.
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind. I know. I don't know if you consider it hand holding, but I would have liked a little more explanation on how it works in game.
Yeah, they definitely could have explained it a little bit better in the details somewhere. Maybe in the
Yeah,
perhaps with the human form item, the eyes of eternal eyes, something like that. The item from Demon
yeah,
Souls, they could have explained it a little bit more there. Uh,
yeah.
Somewhere they could have added extra explanation. I mean, you had a
I remember
whole
when I
menu for the
yeah,
tendency.
yeah. I
They could
remember
have
in the
explained it
remake
better.
that I didn't really know how it worked, and I was playing in the Swamp of Sorrows or whatever it is. That run back to the Leechmonger, and because I was trying to get the Moonlight Great Sword early, and I looked up a video on where it was, and I was trying to get back to the Leechmonger, and I just kept on dying in human form, and basically got all the way to the black world tendency,
Hmm.
and it made it very very difficult. Oh, my kids keep being loud. I'm sorry.
would love to see it again in some variation.
Yeah, they might end up doing it with the next IP. Who knows? I don't. I don't think we'll ever get a Sekiro 2, unfortunately. Even though the one of the what in my eyes is the true ending, leaves it very, very much a possibility of there being a sequel or a DLC or a sequel.
Hmm.
And we know we're not going to get DLC, but a sequel would be really nice. Like, because I don't know what ending you got when you beat the game, but there's an ending where you you save Kuro and Sekiro lives, and then they go on this journey to the west. And I would really love a sequel where you go on that journey. That would be really cool.
Well, I think the first ending I got was the one where you do not fight your father, but you end up fighting what's her
Emma,
face and then Ishin.
yeah, the Shura ending.
Yeah, I think that's
That's the
what.
only ending I haven't gotten yet.
I thought you platinum Sekiro.
No, I'm like 5 or 6 trophies away.
Oh, okay.
I have to uh I still have to unlock all of the prosthetic upgrades. I have to
That took the longest.
yeah,
I
and I
think.
have to upgrade. I have to do something with yeah, that's where you have to get the like lapis lazuli mats, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to do that, and then I have to beat that Shura ending, which will give me that trophy for that ending, and it will give me the trophy for beating all the bosses, because the only 2 bosses I haven't fought are Emma and that old Ishin.
Oh wow.
So that's 3, and then the platinum trophy itself is 4. So I think there might be one more. So I think I'm only like 5 trophies away. But it's just, I don't know. I've been my backlog is just insane, and I'm just,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's gotten to the point where I kind of get anxiety when I think about my
yeah,
backlog. I'm like, man, I already don't have a whole lot of time. Then I look at my backlog, seeing how many games I haven't even finished yet. That's why I stopped. One of the reasons why I stopped trophy hunting because it just takes up too much time.
right.
I got other games I want to
Oh
play.
man, yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, I mean, I remember I thought about platinum Spider-Man 2018, and I rolled credits on the story, and I had like barely half the trophies, and I was just like, yeah, there's just no way.
Oh, the crime one was boring. I hated it so much.
Yeah, they did a lot better job with the Spider-Man 2. I got the platinum for it. It was much more streamlined,
Hmm.
a lot, a lot better to do.
How were the boss fights in Spider-Man 2? Were they any good? Any good? Any?
Yeah, they were fantastic, actually. They were actually a highlight of the game. The what's her name? The female Venom, is her name Scream, or
I have no idea.
I can't remember, but she's like a female version of Venom. I can't remember her name off the top of my head right now, but
Screech.
not something like that. What happened? No, I don't think you were playing. She took your headphones and you were trying to get them back. So what'd you do? Just go to your room, and I'll handle it later. But that boss fight, there's like so many of the boss fights have like at least like 3, even 4 phases.
Mm.
And I am back.
Alex should be here soon. He said he would be on in an hour. It's about 8 o'clock now. But
Okay,
told him we will probably be talking for about another 50 minutes because I gotta eventually feed my son
nice. What's he having tonight?
chicken nuggets.
You ever get the dinosaur nuggets?
No.
They got some. There's a Purdue brand dinosaur shaped nuggets, and they have like zero like additives, antibiotic, all that junk that's usually in stuff, and they're supposed to be like, I'm not gonna say healthy because it's chicken nuggets, but you know as healthy as chicken nuggets can be. And it's like it's Purdue brand, and they come in like a black plastic tray with a plastic film over the top, and they're dinosaur shaped, and they're the kids. My kids like them whenever I decide to get them.
Do you watch out for dyes in the in your food?
Yeah, I like to. I don't like to get anything that has any blue or red dyes, especially.
Yes, I was trying to find a soda today, and pretty much everything had red 40 in it. Definitely want to stay away from that. People, they eat these pickles that's pretty much just covered in red 40, and then they add even more red 40
Yeah.
to it. I forgot what it was called. But they stuff a bunch of candy in it. I forgot what it
Ew.
was. Something pickle, some kind of red pickle.
Sounds disgusting.
And then they drizzle it with some
Uh,
more red 40 sauce.
we used to really like the flaming hot Chester's fries, but I've stopped getting stuff like that because it's got the dyes and stuff, and I just yeah, I'm trying to completely avoid stuff like that.
Yeah, pizza Pringles has red 40 in it. How about that?
Mm, I didn't know that.
Like, why do you guys have to put red 40 in it? It doesn't have to have red coloring in it. They put that beet
Yeah,
coloring in it. Don't put red
yeah. That
40
I
in
mean,
it.
yeah, that's a good alternative. Yeah, lots of things do that.
Goldfish, they put beet coloring in there. The colored fish.
Yeah, yeah. Since I remember you mentioning that before, and since you've mentioned it now, I've seen several snacks that use beet juice as a coloring.
Yes, I mean, Aldi's is a fantastic place for that for a lot of dye-free food.
Yeah, I need to make my way to Aldi's more often. It takes if I wanted to go to Aldi's, I got to drive about 30 minutes from the house, and then the other grocery stores like Food City and Ingles, they're like 10, 15 minutes away tops. So I usually end up going to those, but I need to end up taking the time to go to Aldi's more.
Yeah, luckily, I got one 5 minutes from the house, so I usually
Yeah.
stop by there on my way back home.
And last year for Mother's Day, I got my mom a Costco membership, and she put me on there as the second person that's allowed to use it. And I need to go there more often because they got some good stuff that comes in bulk at a decent price.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get another membership there. It's just Costco is really it's kind of dangerous when it comes to desserts because they have desserts that are beautiful, like key lime
They
pie
really
and the
do.
cinnamon rolls. I gotta stay. I just gotta stay away from that spot
My
because
mom got these. My mom got this like big package of these little glass jars, really nice looking little glass jars that have chocolate mousse in them, and it just looks so good.
mm, man,
Yo,
hey
What's
man,
up, man? You
trying
gonna
to
turn your camera on?
so I'm trying to figure out.
I got you.
Sitting there listening to your sweet lullabies of conversation.
Heck yeah.
There we go.
Freaking camera. There we go. Fixed it. Hey, hello, sir.
Hello.
How you doing today?
Took one day off. Well, I didn't take the day off, but I took it off early. I was gonna work till 10 tonight, but
Yeah.
I've been doing that all week. As you can see, my house is a mess.
I can't tell.
you should see my place. I got uh baby registry stuff all over the place.
Yeah,
Ever since I quit smoking weed, I've been really on top of the house chores. So I the house has been in pretty good shape over here.
It's very therapeutic cleaning for at least for me it is. I love getting the dishes taken care of,
I won't.
wiping down the
I don't,
counters.
yeah, I don't know about therapeutic, but I get into a rhythm
Yeah.
when I'm doing certain things, and you know, you're right. It's pretty okay. And then once you're done, and you know your space is clean, that's the real payoff.
Oh yeah.
I've been like when I have energy, I like cleaning, but I usually will like put in my headphones and listen to like the ink spots or like something that's like nice and classy.
Hmm.
I don't want to set the world on.
Nice.
That kind
I
of shit.
actually got into a little kick listening to old music not too long ago. It can be very, very relaxing.
The music that I've been choosing to play lately to just annoy my coworkers is Hobbit core. I've been listening to Hobbit music.
Hobbit music.
Something Bilbo's playing in the Shire.
Yeah, it's great. It's really relaxing. To me, I'm actually enjoying it. Like I find it really peaceful. I'm like, like a little bit
Yeah.
of banjo, a little bit of, fiddling and some.
Been listening to some Bill Withers and Fleetwood Mac not too long ago the other day. It was pretty nice. Bill Withers is the man.
I've been, I've been getting back into Elvis too.
Not a huge Elvis fan. His voice is kind of weird for me. There's a few songs I really like Hound Dog and a couple other ones, but I'm not really a huge Elvis fan.
What about
What's that
what's
song?
it called? Dang it! It was the theme song for
Oh, Lilo and Stitch.
Suspicious Minds.
Suspicious Minds. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. And
Is that an Elvis song?
Yes.
yeah,
I
and
don't think
that
it's a
one.
cover. It might be.
What's
He did a lot of cover songs.
He did.
What's that one where Devil in Disguise?
Yeah,
That's my
I like
Elvis.
that one. You got
Yeah,
Jailhouse Rock. I believe that's his.
yeah.
It, it,
Jailhouse Rock is originally him.
you never know. There's a lot of songs that you'll realize actually comes from really old days. Just like maybe
Yeah.
the 20s or 30s. You got some kind of black guy singing it. Is usually the
Yeah.
case. It's like
Most of his songs were actually copied from the black culture.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all watched that Elvis movie that came out last year.
Yeah.
I ended up watching it with my wife. It was pretty good.
Heard it had a lot of inaccuracies in it, but that's probably common, I believe, for the movies
Yeah.
like that.
I
probably.
think they did the movie right by not like diving deep into his like personal thoughts about things. They were just like
Right.
from the outside looking in.
This is what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, they only allow a few people to his actual room in his house where he died. But one random person that's actually been able to have access up there is Nicolas Cage.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage has such a weird.
He's an interesting fellow.
I still need to see Renfield. I want to watch that.
Oh, I know. I want to see that too. I want to see that too.
And I
really want to see the it's called the unbearable weight of massive talent or something.
Is that the one with Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, and Nick Cage plays himself. Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, because all his awesome movies most of his awesome movies get mentioned, like Raising Arizona. You get to see a little reference to that.
My favorite Nick Cage movies are the National Treasure movies and Ghost Rider.
I forgot. Yeah, National Treasure. That was an awesome movie. It's a shame they never made a third one. I wonder what happened with that. Number 2 did okay.
Disney owns the rights to the movie franchise, and there's been talks about them doing a reboot or even a TV show, but Nicolas Cage has confirmed that they haven't approached him about anything. So if they do that, he probably won't be in it.
You know, Nicolas Cage would love
my favorite.
Yeah.
What is it?
Con Air.
That's a good one.
I don't think I've seen it. What about Face
Off? Oh, it's good.
Huh? Pretty much anything with John Malkovich in it, and he plays a good part in that as the villain.
What did you say, Zach?
Face Off?
Yeah.
I think I've heard of that. I'm not sure if I've seen it.
Him and John Travolta.
Yeah, that was a good
Okay.
one.
I don't think I've seen that one. Wasn't he in a movie like Escape, or something about Alcatraz or something?
Sounds like Con Air.
I don't know. The only movie that comes to my mind is the Clint Eastwood Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah. He has like a famous quote from that movie. It has something to do with like these green bulbs. I can't remember.
I shall escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick Cage I like him as an actor. I really do.
There's that one movie, Mom and Dad, where all the parents, like there's like some weird hormone that went around that made all the parents want to kill and eat their children. It was like a slapstick horror movie.
Oh, okay.
Cage. And I just remember this one line, and it just portrays him perfectly. Is that he's all sitting there. The kids lock themselves in the basement so they can't get to him, and Nicolas Cage just goes, "The Saul's all," and then just starts cutting, screaming it. You know, like,
that is a good line.
2017.
Didn't he do a movie called Mandy?
Yep. I think
What's that one about? I've never seen it, but I've heard reference to it a bunch.
Mandy. I'm getting two movies confused. Yeah, Mandy.
When we watched when we had our last podcast, we were talking about the lighthouse. That's made me like only want to watch a movie like the lighthouse, and I cannot find one that like has like that
The
artistic
unique, yeah.
psychological
Oh yeah,
thriller.
Watch The Witch,
I have.
oh,
Hereditary.
I have.
Hereditary. You should
Ooh,
watch Hereditary
I
yes.
want to watch it with someone, but I might just watch it by myself.
or Midsommar. Midsommar, however you say it.
It
Man,
sounds better.
Hereditary is an experience. I don't watch it enough. I've only seen it maybe a few times. I have it on DVD. My wife will not watch it with me.
I don't blame her. It's fucking wild.
I haven't seen any movies lately that make me want to think, and that's kind of like the only movies I get into. Like, fuck, man, like that fucked me up. You know what I mean? Like The Lighthouse. That one really had me like, because it left a lot of things to your
Interpretation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah. And then there was other. What was the other movie? There's this one that actually no, I don't have. I can't think of another one. But the only game that's like had that equivalence was Soma. If you guys ever played that?
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
When I
It's a
beat that
horror game, isn't it? It's a horror
yeah,
game.
it's a horror game, yes. But fuck, dude, the message behind it was just so like it fucked me up. Like you know what I mean?
I've heard some good things. That's a really good game.
When I beat Soma, like I had to sit there and think for like a good couple hours about what the fuck just happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it bothered me internally. You know what I mean? Like it had me
Mm-hmm.
like it was like watching an episode of Black Mirror. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like how they
Yeah.
just like really get you to think about shit.
Yeah.
So that's what Soma did. And like that one and Lone Survivor, which is a 2D Silent Hill basically. A pixelated
Okay.
Silent Hill in a sense. That one fucked me up too. I like those are good games.
Yeah.
Um, have you seen Mother with Jennifer Lawrence?
No.
That's pretty good. I like it. My wife hated
Is
it.
is it a horror movie?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thriller, horror. I mean,
I like
um,
Jennifer Lawrence as an actress.
um,
You guys seen that new movie with Emma Stone?
Poor Things.
Oh,
Little
didn't she
Thing?
win didn't she just win an Oscar for it?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Poor Things.
Uh,
I haven't seen it either.
Four Little Things or something.
I think it's Poor Things. I was
I
going.
mean,
I really wanted to watch it, but I heard that it sexualizes children, so I stayed away from it.
Oh,
I can't believe they let that show Cuties go on for so long.
that
Did they
that
take
was
that
pretty
off?
wild. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that's
I
I
why.
never.
That's why I stopped
I
paying for
never.
Netflix.
Yeah, a lot of people got really upset about that, but I don't know, man. I'm one of those people that has a hard time getting up on soapboxes about things like that. And Netflix at that time had some of my favorite shows I was currently watching, so I was just like, well, I'm not going to watch Cuties, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to cancel my subscription either. But I had lots of family members that boycotted Netflix and canceled their subscriptions, and then I had a couple of like other family members that were like, you guys are being crazy. It's really not that bad. You just have to watch it. And I'm just like, no, it really looks bad, and I'm not going to watch it. But yeah,
I would just feel creepy the entire time.
yeah,
Or like
yeah,
just even like watching like clicking on it would make me feel weird. I'd be like,
yeah.
But
yeah,
if any of you guys decide to watch Poor Things, let me know how much. I mean, how bad it is in terms in that category. Because that's
what
I
I'll have
read
to
about
look
it in the
into
Paris
it.
Guide, but you guys might not watch it either. But if you do, just let me know how bad it is. But
I want to
usually,
see it, but
usually if
I
there's
hear that.
anything sexual in a movie, my wife's like, no, we're not watching it.
Oh, there are definitely some sexual things. That's
Yeah,
what my
yeah.
cousin's telling me. Like maybe not. I didn't hear anything about children, but he says like, yeah, you can see Emma Stone get fucked. I was like,
Jeez.
like that. Is it a porn? Is it like, like what is it? Why the hell? But I don't know. I heard that it's like a Frankenstein movie.
Yeah.
Like
Ooh.
she's like a female Frankenstein, basically.
Oh, dude, that reminds me. I watched this movie when I was a teenager. I'm having a hard time remembering what it's called, but it was so messed up. These high school boys, they end up breaking into this old warehouse or like factory, and they end up going into the basement of this factory, and they find this like zombified woman chained to a table, and like she's like undead kind of, and they start like doing sexual things to her,
Mm.
and she ends up biting one of them on his private parts, and he ends up like dying in school the next day. And it's like, oh, dude, it's such a crazy, messed up movie. Like, I
Teeth,
couldn't believe I was watching it as a
What
teenager.
is that called?
Oh man, I'm having a hard time remembering.
teeth.
Hold on a second, I'll look it up.
Remember, me and my friends went through a phase of watching just fucked up movies. Like we watched Human Centipede, Teeth.
I've never seen Human Centipede, but I've seen Teeth, and that I'll never watch it again.
Yeah, Teeth was fucking weird.
Yeah.
Human Centipede was weird.
I saw all three of the Human Centipede movies. They basically got dumber with each one.
I stopped after two. I don't even know why I watched the second one. I'm like sitting here. I'm like,
The third
I'm
one's
not
basically a
enjoying this.
parody of the entire of the first one.
That's what I heard. Yeah, some.
I like
I
what
don't know.
South Park did with the concept.
I was just about to say, like, if I
They got
want to find what happens in those movies, I'll just watch South Park.
they got
I'll get the gist of
pork
it.
piles in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Should I eat the cuttlefish or the vanilla paste?
The funny clown.
All right, I'll
Beast
eat a
Yeah,
cuttlefish.
the movie I'm talking about, it's called Dead Girl.
Dead girl.
Dead Girl. It came out in 2008.
Doesn't sound like something I'm gonna go search to watch.
It was a wild movie, dude. It was a wild movie. It kind of had a happy ending. One of the boys that found her, he would never touch her or never did anything sexual to her. He would not. And then eventually she gets free from where she's chained up, and she kills all the boys that did do stuff with her. And then she lets the boy that didn't do anything to her, she lets him go, and then she escapes.
What's the message? Oh, be a normal human being.
Yeah,
Don't be fucking
Yeah,
gross.
that does look a bit eerie looking. I'm seeing some of the
dude,
images here.
it was wild. It was absolutely wild.
It's
I
very,
haven't watched it. I haven't watched it since that one time I watched it back then. I probably never will watch it again, but it's stuck with me over the years. That's how wild it was.
You know, you ever often wonder why they don't put realistic dead bodies in film? You know, whenever they have someone die or someone that's been dead for a while, it just doesn't look like a dead person. It just looks like someone's laying there with blood, a little bit of blood on their face.
I don't know. I had never really thought about it. I feel like I
Do you
see
think
lots
that's
of movies
just?
where they.
Do you think it's just maybe them just trying to protect people from seeing something that horrifying, something preventing them from seeing something so realistic?
it would be
Maybe
Because
like safe.
it would probably damage some. It might just break somebody mentally. You know, just
it
seeing a
could.
bunch of realistic bodies like that.
It could.
But we're also in a community where we can't even say die anymore. Like we have to say unalived.
Oh
Oh yeah.
right, yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
like it's just like, yeah, dude. Like call it what it is. Like you want to like we're a
Yeah, you want to
society
just
of
yeah.
5-year-olds. You know what I
I know
mean?
exactly what you mean.
Like everyone wants to be so damn sensitive. It's like, dude, like the more sensitive you are, the weaker you are. Like
Hmm.
honestly, it just means more things can get to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And I don't know, like we're desensitized in the wrong ways and sensitized in the wrong ways. You know what I mean?
you're spot on with that.
Like being taken away from like just normal ass shit that is in our day to day.
But I will say, like, ever since Elon Musk bought Twitter, I can't go a day scrolling on Twitter without finding like real life footage of somebody dying.
I see that on Facebook.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Facebook is like damn near worse. Like people are always like, "Oh man, you'll see some fucked up shit on the dark web." It's like go
No, you don't need to go on the dark web.
Facebook, yeah, YouTube, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Like, man, I've seen more fucked up shit than there than
I
like
remember when I was in high school seeing cartel murder videos.
you
I
see
was just like,
faces on Facebook murdering people.
yeah,
Like, you know what I
this
mean?
really fucked up shit.
Deep web or the only purpose of the deep web is to like deal business. That's just because it's encrypted. But the rest of it, like you go find a hitman by posting it on Facebook as a joke, and then probably find one anyways. Like, you know what I mean? Facebook is
Pretty wild.
choicely moderated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my opinion about taking yourself out was changed the moment I saw this video of this dude hanging himself while his child begged him not to.
Oh my gosh,
He just
dude.
did it right there with his child, just trying to grasp at his legs, trying to
That's
get him
so
down.
fucked up. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I've always looked at taking yourself out in a totally different way after seeing something like that, and a lot of people will never see that side of it.
I don't think I could watch
I
that.
don't want to, yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's like this is like a much more innocent phrase of term, but like it can scale up to that. It's that what is it? Oh motherfucker. Um, the fucking, oh wow, I just completely went brain dead on that. And like, just like, you don't need to see, oh, failure is not an option, but the option exists. Like, that shit is out there and we can be aware of it. Doesn't mean we need to go see it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
failure is an option, but you're not going to go do it. You know what I mean? Or you're not
Right.
acting like, that was poorly worded, but I'm just saying, like in a scale, like the thing exists, but when someone puts it in your face, now you have this visual that will haunt you. It's like that shit will happen.
Yeah.
You're not unaware of like the darkness of the world, but why it my word lately that I like to like find a word and like kind of integrate it into my vocabulary or like my daily vernacular. But rumination, you're ruminating. You are sitting there and you are constantly thinking about one thing. And when you do that, you feed it and it grows. You know what I mean? So when you're constantly having this like dark thought, like let's just say like I'm a
And
loser, you know what I mean? Like I'm a piece of shit. You constantly sit there and think about it, you're going to believe it and you're going to start justifying every single way. It's just like looking through the internet to find that information you want. You're going to find that you
yep.
have 100 things telling you no, but you're going to go for the one thing that tells you yes, even
Yep.
if it is just fucking stupid. But it's just like you ruminate on things like that. And that's
Yep.
why lately all I've been doing is like I'll listen to happy music, I'll listen to like Hobbit music and shit like that. Like I don't
Yeah.
need to ruminate on dark shit. I'm struggling enough as is. So I don't go out of my way to look at things. Like if I see a video that I just know is gonna bother me, I just skip it.
yeah,
I'm like, why? What do I have to gain of that? I am aware that this stuff happens. I
Yeah.
am
The world is
aware.
messed up.
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't need to sit there and ruminate on how dark the world is. Like if you feel like people are really that fucked up, just go outside for a little while. You'll find out that people are quite nice. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not everyone, but
I've struggled in the past with, whether or not I believe people are just inherently evil, but I don't think that that is true.
Ricky Gervais said that whole thing where it's like, he was asked like, if there was no laws, people would rape, murder, and kill. It's like I don't believe that. I believe that
I mean, I think that there's definitely people out there that would,
sure,
but I don't think
but
it's the
like
majority.
human nature, like we don't. I do kill, murder, and rape. Just said the same thing twice, but I do murder and rape as much as I want, and that's zero. You know what I mean? Like I don't have that desire.
Yeah.
Like I don't like to live in the whole idea that I want to strike fear in people's hearts. You know,
Yeah,
But
and I've known people like that too. Like you ever meet someone and like if it was like a Mad Max situation or like an apocalyptic situation, like you got to stay away from that guy because he's gonna do some funky shit.
yeah,
Yeah, I definitely get
Yeah,
bad vibes off of some certain people, and I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if it's just based on the way they look or the way they carry themselves.
right.
I interact with people, with my job, and there are certain people where I'm like, ugh. I mean, there might not be anything wrong with them. It's just the vibes and
Yeah,
energy I'm just getting off of them. Like, I feel like I don't need to get too close to
totally
this
get it.
person. At least, I mean,
Totally,
thankfully, I
totally
don't have to go
understand that.
invite. I don't. Thankfully, I don't have to go inside anyone's houses. It's against policy. But a lot of people are always inviting me into their house. The scariest moment I had on my job is where I was just walking back to our work truck, and all of a sudden this dude pulls up. He's like, "Hey man, I gotta move a rug for my aunt. Can you help me?" And I was like, "No, I'm at work. I can't do anything like that. I can't use my work truck for something like that." He's like, "You don't want to do a good deed today?" I'm like, "No."
when you
He,
put it that way, I really don't.
he tried to
Like,
butter me up by saying that
absolutely
he
not.
tried buttering me up because I had my earbuds in and I took them off so I could hear what he was saying. He's like, "Oh man, you got earbuds in. That's pretty cool. They look cool."
What the
And
what?
that bothered me
That's
for
bizarre.
several weeks because it's just the way he just approached me like that. And I was kind of
Yeah,
watching my back for a while because
there is a sense of too nice. You know,
hmm
like he's like, okay, what's your agenda? Like,
well,
what
it's
do
Yeah.
like
you?
with those pesky salesmen in Walmart. They try to
Oh yeah.
butter you up and with friendly conversation, they just want to scam you, basically.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
scammers love to do that.
Sometimes there's these cell phone guys that prop up in the electronics department trying to sell you on some cheap cell phone plan. And then yeah, they try to make small talk with you, and they try to make small talk with my wife, and it's just like, dude, fuck off. I'm trying to shop.
hmm And uh, and it's kind of a in a way uncanny the way the
Yeah.
conversation is so unnatural to me. The way like
Hmm.
no one just walks up to you and talks like that.
Yeah.
If you're seen Kit Boga or this guy that likes to mess with scammers, these scammers whenever they get a elderly person on, they're like, "Oh man, you sound so beautiful. I think I might be in love with you or something." Like, just buttering them up. It's really creepy. Their little
That
conversation
is pretty
tactics
wild.
just to scam your grandma out of buying crypto coins or whatever, Google Play cards.
Yeah.
And elderly people, they fall for it every day. It's a shame. I mean, of course they
Yeah,
would,
they
because
do.
those places wouldn't be in business if people didn't fall for it. Obviously.
I saw one video of this guy. He was on the phone with this call center. The whole call center was a scam, and he like tracked down their actual physical location and then the name of the person he was on the phone with, and like hacked into their system and had then it was like, and it's like, didn't you tell me your name is this? But your name is actually this, and this is where you work, and this is what you do. And then they hung up immediately.
Well, one guy actually got center arrested in
Yeah,
Indonesia. Actually, you could see the cops going into the building and they're walking out with handcuffs.
the one that I watched, this dude even managed to hack their webcams so he could see live their facial reactions to him telling them their information,
Mm-hmm.
and then how they reacted after they hung up on him. And so, because he had hacked their webcams and stuff, I was like, that is brilliant. You could really do some damage to these people like that.
Oh yeah.
They just don't do fucking weird shit. like,
Basically,
like I got cameras all through my fucking house. People hacking me. They're like, watch me masturbate. Like that's what that's what you
Yeah.
want to find.
you guys want to see something cool?
Have you seen those creepy Ring videos where someone hacks their children's Ring camera? First of all, I don't think I would feel comfortable putting a camera like that in my child's room. Why don't you just get
No.
like one of those? I don't know if you can find anything that's hack proof. I mean, I got something for my son's room, but I don't know if you can. I guess you can technically hack it, maybe, because it goes through a Wi-Fi, to
Hmm.
sync it up. But probably
You have
Ring
to
might be
get
a little
something
bit
closed
easier.
circuit.
Maybe an off-brand would be a lot more difficult for someone to hack into because it's not as popular, perhaps.
Yeah, like maybe like an old fashioned baby monitor.
Oh, I forgot to mention this movie from earlier. Speaking of movies that are very confusing and interesting, that makes you think. Beau is Afraid. I watched 40 minutes of it. It's 3 hours long, and
That's the one with Joaquin Phoenix.
yeah, it's funny. I finally got my wife to watch, and she actually liked it. I'm surprised because she usually doesn't like movies like this. There's something about it that she does enjoy, so we found a movie that we both can watch, and
It's cool.
we got get to the 40-minute mark, and we're like, well, it should be about over by now. We've been through a lot. I checked the
40 minutes.
I checked the duration.
Been
It's
through a lot.
3 hours long. I'm like, geez, there's three. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I didn't realize it was going to be 3 hours long.
So you're gonna finish it?
Yeah, eventually.
Just be like watching it, like, man, I really went through a lot there.
Yeah, because 40 minutes, the Joaquin Phoenix character does go through a lot. I mean, I've mentioned on the group chat that it's basically the movie should be is the AKA should be worst case scenario the movie
Yeah.
because that's all it
Newton's
is.
law. Wait, hold on. What's it called? What's law? Not Newton. Oh crap. What's the law where everything that can go wrong will? What's it called? Murphy's law.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Murphy's law.
'Cause, I mean, the movie just that I love movies that are like that. You can't predict them. You know, it's not a typical Hollywood formula. It's like it's going to take this turn, then total U-turn, and um, that movie it just goes through so many segments where you're like, what? Definitely didn't see that coming. And it definitely when I actually watched 30 minutes of it twice because I had to rewatch it with my wife, and I was picking up on things I never noticed before, like just foreshadowing of events that was going to happen soon, and that was wild to see. So it's definitely a movie you would have to watch twice to get a great enjoyment on the second viewing, like Hereditary.
There's only there's actually only one movie I've watched in the past 6 months, and actually quite it was a Spaceman with Adam Sandler in
Ooh, I
it.
want to see that. Yep.
It's actually really good. Like I was, you think Adam Sandler, there's not a single like Funny People was kind of a serious movie, but
Uncut
Is
Gems.
that on Is that on Netflix?
yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw it on there.
Uncut Gems was a serious Adam Sandler movie.
I still need to see that.
Then apparently there's that one Adam Sandler movie where he was doing a biopic of someone, Sandy.
Yeah. Are you talking about Uncut Gems?
Was that about the Sandler?
Because I think that was based on a true story, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I remember it was like it was a biopic of someone. I can't remember who though, but yeah, I heard.
I remember watching Funny People when it came out and it not being funny, and I was very disappointed.
Just like sitting here, like Funny People should be more like sad people.
That's exactly what I was thinking, dude. I just kept waiting for the jokes, and I was like, "This is ass."
I don't think
But
anything has topped Jack and Jill yet in terms of horror
I
Adam
Oh.
Sandler movies.
was like, this is the worst.
that is the worst movie ever made, maybe.
I was like,
It is not
is-
even that old.
yeah,
No.
this is absolutely a terrible movie.
Yeah, it's like you took the worst thing. You did the worst possible adaptation of like the Nutty Professor concept ever. Like, and you completely shat all over Eddie Murphy's freaking Nutty Professor legacy.
Switching it back to Norbit.
It's a shame that Nutty Professor never came back with a third movie.
Yeah, those were pretty good. Didn't that come out around like the time Flubber did?
I think it is a '90s sort of thing.
That's a movie you need to get on and watch. Is Flubber for real?
Yeah, I got it on my list. Nutty.
I'm like,
I almost put down Nutty Flubber. Yeah,
That's-
That was the time. That was their nickname in high school.
You're gonna find some different search engines for that one.
Yeah, Nutty Professor was in '96, and then Nutty Professor 2 was 2000 actually.
The Flubber's nut.
Nut. Have you seen well, you probably haven't, but you know Nutty Professor is a remake of an older movie, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a what's it called? It's funny because Eddie Murphy has done this a couple times where he remade a movie that was based on an older film like Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah, I knew about that one.
Um, old movie. I can't even find it on the Google. The first, it doesn't even pop up on the. Oh yeah, 1963 was the original Nutty Professor movie.
Dang,
It was a dude.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, no one even remembers that movie, of course.
I bet not.
But Eddie Murphy, I think it was pretty successful. I believe Nutty Professor at the
Yeah,
time when it came out. It was a
it was.
hilarious movie. I love the part where at the beginning where all the hamsters get out and one gets in this dude's pants and just is flopping around. And his girlfriend's impressed.
Yeah, I do remember that. Oh man,
Indian in the cupboard.
oh, I love that movie, dude.
I haven't seen that. That's another one I've seen a commercial for several times, but never seen the movie.
Oh, dude, it's such a good movie. Oh my
What is
goodness.
it about? Just an Indian in a cupboard?
So this boy,
Yeah.
he gets this cupboard. I don't remember how he get. I think his mom gets it for him or something like that. And then he keeps trying all these different keys, and he can't get it unlocked because it's locked. And he like gets a huge jar full of keys and tries like every single one of them, and not one of them will unlock it. And I don't even remember how he finds the key or gets the key that unlocks it. I don't even remember that part, but he eventually gets a key that unlocks the cupboard, and there's nothing in it. And he's just like, well, what the heck? And he starts putting his toys in there. I think he starts with his this little Indian guy. He puts this Indian guy in there, and I think he locks the cupboard back or closes it or something like that. And the toy comes to life. And it's just it's amazing, dude. It's such a good movie. It's great.
Good family movie to watch.
It is. That's one you should watch with your wife.
You know what? Actually, now that we're talking about it, you know, one movie that I feel like is like top tier childhood family movie would be Two Lions with who's the guy who plays as Chris or the Dark Knight Alfred.
Oh, you're talking about Secondhand Lions?
Secondhand Lions. That's it.
That's a good movie too.
That's
I love that movie.
I think that is the best family movie. Like,
That is a great movie as well. Have you seen that one, Zach? Secondhand Lions.
No.
It's got Michael Caine and Robert Duvall.
It's got Haley Joel Osment in it.
Yeah, he plays the boy, I think.
Yeah, you know he plays at Sora, right?
Yeah.
Are you talking about from Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I never played. I never could get into Kingdom Hearts. I never played it back in the day, and then I bought the trilogy remastered or whatever, and I started playing the first game, and I stopped playing it. Not in the first area that you first start in the game, that little island, but the first world you make it to after that. I was just like, this is ass, and I stopped.
The island is the worst part. One of the worst parts of the game because it's so slow.
Yeah.
That.
What is the first world you get to after the island? Because that's how far I made it.
Depends on where you go. Alice in Wonderland is where I normally get to first.
Yeah, that's the first one I go to. Or Tarzan. You can go to Tarzan's world also.
Yeah, that one too. I like that place a lot better than Alice in Wonderland because the level design is atrocious. Because you can get turned around so easily in Alice in Wonderland.
I also felt like it was like very uncharacteristic, you know what I mean, of Alice in Wonderland. When you go in there, you're just like, everything just kind of looks like a paint, you know?
Yeah, I remember I made it to the first world, and I was just like, I gave up. I was like, this is not fun.
Well, Alice in Wonderland, the way I can describe it is like if you walk into a Disney ride with all the lights on.
The leveling up system in Kingdom Hearts, though, is like top tier.
What is it?
Like, the leveling up system.
Oh,
I loved like how the system worked. You know what I mean? Like, you get all.
Everybody tells me that the second game is way better. Like,
that's considered the best one.
Yeah, if you can get through the first, that it only gets better from there. And I think some people think the third one is like a little bit not that great.
I didn't like it. I didn't even finish it.
Yeah, you could only go to each world once, and then it was like oversaturated with collectibles and getting all the Mickey Mouse pictures, and
it's basically just a showcase of look what the properties we own. Look at all these Disney. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it was fun to go to Monsters Inc. and it was fun to go to Toy Story.
Man,
and the graphics were amazing.
The things they
That
could
was
have done with Monsters Inc. I mean, the potential there that was lost. I mean, they could have done a whole going through the doors for the other places would have been cool, but they didn't do anything like that.
the one thing I turned off when I was playing Kingdom Hearts
Was this
3.
Kingdom Hearts 3 you're all talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that I turned off, the mechanic, was the rides attack.
Oh.
Where you know what I'm talking about? I
Mm-hmm.
hated that. I turned it off. Like I was like, I don't want to do this move. Like I find it just over cumbersome and like it's just flashy. And I'm not really doing that
Yeah,
much. And
I didn't like it
so,
either. It looked really cool from the trailers, but it didn't pull it off very well.
yeah, exactly. Like it looked cool. Like if it was like a special, but like you could do it so often, it
Yeah,
just felt
way
like,
too often. It should have worked like the summon feature in Final Fantasy.
like the cool thing is that they didn't like take Sora and like restart him like they do in a lot of sequel games. They're like, all right, now you've forgotten all the moves that you know. Like they gave Sora like all of his moves from the get, and you can learn more, and that's cool. But like, yeah, that whole rides attack thing where you can like your different rides from Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's so like meta, like it's like a very meta realism in
Wasn't
there.
the third one supposed to kind of like wrap up the story and it be like a complete trilogy?
I don't know.
Think it wraps
Because
anything.
because I've heard I'm pretty sure there's a fourth one in development, isn't
Yeah,
there?
they dropped a trailer for that. I think
Kingdom
last year.
Hearts is just Lost. Like the show Lost. Like
Hmm.
every time you get to the next one, it's just more fucking
It's
questions.
a Square Enix game, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think they're just making it up as they go along. They don't have any kind of ending plan with it, like with
I
Lost,
watched
basically.
I watched someone try to explain the story, and I was more lost than not trying to figure out the
Is it
story.
PlayStation exclusive or is it on Xbox or Nintendo?
I think
PlayStation exclusive.
I thought they expanded to Xbox. Maybe they didn't.
I don't think I've ever seen it on Xbox.
I have a feeling that Square will end their contract, their exclusivity deals with Sony sooner rather than later because for everything I keep reading, like the sales for Final Fantasy Rebirth is have dwindled like 90% from the first week of launch, and it's like that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, they have Kingdom Hearts on Xbox now.
I don't know. Kingdom Hearts is a one and done for me. Not don't get me wrong, like I 100% all of them. Besides the third one, I was just so tired of this whole find the 50 Mickey Mouse things here, and you had to do it if you wanted the ultimate weapon, and that was so dumb to me. I was just like, this is such a grind and such a slog for
What's the
just
ultimate weapon? Like the Keyblade thing?
yeah. But I mean, it's like Ultima, like it's like
Like the Master Sword in Zelda?
yeah, pretty much. Um, and I just didn't have that patience, so I just stopped playing. I was like, I'm not even gonna beat the
It's
game. I don't want to beat it without. I
it's
don't want to.
funny by the time you get the ultimate weapon, you don't want to play the game anymore.
Yeah, I didn't even want to play the game. As soon as I found out what I needed for the ultimate weapon, I was like, and that's where it lies. That's the end of the game right there. I was like, all right, next part of the game, take 50 pictures. Like, hey,
No thanks.
I didn't want to play iPhone Simulator. I wanted to play Kingdom Hearts. Like, I wanted to
Right.
like get into what this world was, and nope, we're
And it's
gonna.
crazy because I remember, like growing up, like remember hearing so many people talk about how much they loved the Kingdom Hearts games, like this is how great they were. Like,
One, two,
yeah, I
three.
just couldn't get into it.
I love one, two. I
Well,
100% love
the second
the
game
second
starts
one.
out even slower than the first one.
Oh yeah, because you have to go
Dang.
through the whole Roxas
Mm-hmm.
prelude, and it's just like, yeah, no, that's why it's a one and done for me because all three of them, every single game is just fucking slow right at the beginning.
And Sora, isn't he supposed to be like a play on a Final Fantasy character, but he's not in any Final Fantasy games?
I don't know. I don't know what. I'm not. I'm
Huh?
not well. I don't know Final Fantasy enough to really connect Sora with anything other than
Dude,
Cloud. But
yeah, but I don't know who you would relate to because you got he doesn't fit any of the boxes for a Square Enix protagonist. You know what I mean? Like if you look at every protagonist between, I guess he's closer to Titus, if anyone.
Is he voiced? Is he fully voiced?
Yeah, by the actor in Secondhand Line.
Oh, that's what you said. Yeah, Haley Joel. That's right. That's right. Duh.
Yeah,
That's
he only does grunt noises.
Yeah, the voice actor. Yeah, he's done all of them. Yeah, no, like when you start looking at they basically have added timelines that intersect and dimensions that intersect, and it just gets more convoluted, and you're just sitting there going like, I don't play this for the story.
Yeah,
Now,
because like when I bought that trilogy collection, it had like it said like Kingdom Hearts 1.5 or 1.5 and like 2.5 or something like that. I'm
yeah,
just like, what's the deal with that?
because they add there's different like if you want to continue the story like all the way through and know what's going on, you have to get a PSP. You have to get you have to
So they
play.
just added all that stuff together
Yeah,
in one
and
thing.
the iPhone game is also canon, and the fucking there's three PS2 games that aren't one and two. They're like the Cards of Destiny and just other ones that I didn't bother with. And there's like, but they're all canon. They all continue the story in their own
Right.
way. So like you would have to play all of them to even get an inkling of understanding of what's going on. Or you could be like me and just say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna kill things."
Just watch a YouTube video.
Oh yeah, no, you'll be a little more lost. You can
Yeah.
watch a YouTube video about like what the story is about, and you're like, I understand.
It's best if you just ignore it.
Yeah.
Who is the
It's
main
me.
overarching antagonist of is it a Disney villain or just some unique villain?
The antagonist is Xanahort from 5 different timelines, and one of them's good. Yeah, so like if that gives you any understanding that you are constantly trying to go after Ansem in the first one, and then Ansem is actually a Xenomorph, whatever the fuck his name is, Xenohort, fucking clone. He is the nobody of Xenohort, and then there's the heartless of Xenohort, and then there's the future heartless
Wow.
Xenohort, and then there's the fucking the good Xenohort, but like they're all different. And then you got Riku from 3 different timelines, and you got Sora from different timelines, but that's Roxas. And
Whoa,
Roxas,
that sounds pretty complicated.
Doesn't Christopher Lee voice Ansem?
I think so.
Did they ever send you to the world of Fantasia in the games?
Yeah,
The third
it's
one,
not.
right?
No, the second one. It's the very beginning.
Well, the first game you also can because of the giant gargoyle.
Yeah.
But remember, right when you switch from Roxas to Sora, you're in the Fantasia world.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's literally right when Sora wakes up. That's where you are. Like
Yeah, I've seen like cutscenes or whatever with that giant demon winged beast thing from one of them. I used to know the name of that guy. I can't think of it now.
Fighting him was basically fighting an animatronic from like
Hmm.
Orlando Studios because he just sits
Yeah.
there. He doesn't move. At least from what I remember, he doesn't do anything other than just swipe at you.
Now, nothing can compare to the arena in the first Kingdom Hearts. Hercules' world, like you literally can go through arenas, but they are so satisfying because then you got like the Pegasus Cup, which is the first one. Then you got the Hercules Cup, and then I think you got the Megura Cup, and then you got Hades Cup, which is just 40 fucking waves of enemies, and you have to fight like 4 bosses or 5 bosses in it, which includes like Yuffie from Final Fantasy VII, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, Squall from Final Fantasy VIII, and then the Titans from Hercules.
That's pretty crazy.
Cerebus.
What's that?
Cerebus.
Cerebus.
You fight Sephiroth too.
Cerberus?
Cerberus. Yeah, I was gonna say that's not how you pronounce that. My brain
I
was
couldn't
like,
remember. I was like,
that's not right. like,
Cerberus.
shut like Cerberus.
I can't remember what I was saying before.
But Cerberus was a storyline boss. All of the bosses in the arena past the Pegasus Cup are all optional, but there's so many of them, and it's just like a boss run, and then a heavy wave run, and then a boss run, and heavy wave, and like that. I love that. I thought that was the coolest because you get all of these abilities throughout the game, but all of them, all 3 of them, you get all these cool fucking abilities. Like once you get to the in the first game, once you get to Peter Pan, once you get to Neverland, I mean, you unlock the ability to fly, so you can glide through the air. And then when you finally get to Sephiroth, who is the hardest boss in the game, he is optional. He's the secret mega boss.
Sephiroth is in Kingdom Hearts.
All of them as the secret ultimate boss. Like
dang,
the hardest boss in all 3 games. And it's cool. It's actually like because they play Sephiroth's Sephiroth. They got that playing, like it's that whole orchestra playing while you're fighting this guy who is teleporting and shooting and has like his slashes, and like you have to dodge and counterattack, and like
is he harder than the final? And then when you fight him in the Final Fantasy game,
he is vastly harder because you're actually moving. It's not like their strategy. He is harder than 90% of Dark Souls bosses. Like he is fucking. I would even go
so much health though,
Yeah, he has a stupid amount of health. So the fight will take an hour. So it is not only an endurance battle, but you have to sit there and you cannot make one fucking mistake, because as soon as you do, it's and then because he can kill you in 3 hits at max health.
Waterfowl dancing you.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally the entire fight. He'll do the waterfowl, then he'll shoot meteors at you, then he'll do the whole instant transmission from Dragon Ball. Like,
God!
Like it's a hard fight.
Just completely broken. Is it having the ultimate weapon make it easier?
Yeah, but I mean, like you have to have all max equipment. You have to be top level to even stand a chance. But that's the cool thing, that like gives you the incentive to grind.
Right. What I mean? You're right.
Why I like Kingdom Hearts, and why. And it wasn't like a frustrating fight, you know what I mean? It was like Orphan of Cost to me. Like, I was losing, but I expect to lose. You know what I mean? Like, I know that this isn't going to be something I beat on my first try. So I sat there for like, I think an hour or a couple hours, like about 4 hours fighting Sephiroth in the first one. I think he was a little easier in the second one because there was a triangle command that would be like when they're about to do this certain move, you press triangle and you just like counterattack it. So they kind of give you a little bit more ease in the second one. But the first one, you didn't have that. And you were constantly like, you were just going with your own abilities. You know what I mean? Like your build, however you wanted your character to be. Like that's what you have to go in as, like with your, knowledge of what moves and then you got to figure out like that pattern. Like it is so much harder than Dark Souls, that boss is, anyways.
Interesting.
I just find it to be super satisfying. Now, Final Fantasy is very common with these super mega bosses, like in every single game. Every single game has a stupid mega boss that you have to be max level.
I think Final Fantasy 16 is one of the only ones that didn't. I think I remember them talking about it.
I didn't play it, but I know that 10 has one of the hardest ones called Penance, and you have to like literally beat every hunted monster, which every hunted monster at max level is hard enough. I'm still playing it. You know what I mean? Like I had to take a break after I got.
You know what? Now that I think about it, they're coming out with an expansion for Final Fantasy 16 like next month or something like that, or in May, and I bet they might add something like that in that.
I'm sure. I mean, Final Fantasy 7, the first, not the original, but I mean the first part.
The first part of the remake.
Yeah. This is what I find really cool, is that the secret ultimate boss in Final Fantasy VII, because Sephiroth is always the secret hidden boss in so many games, that they used Kuma from Final Fantasy IX, who's the main antagonist. They used him as the secret boss in the new Final Fantasy VII. He's the last VR mission on hard difficulty. You know how you do the VR missions, stuff like that. Have you played?
I never played. No, I never played it.
Well, then I'm just talking to air.
I'm listening.
No, I know. Sorry, that's not what I meant. It wasn't even.
Yeah, I know.
Which Final Fantasy?
7 remake.
Part 1.
Okay.
So if you get to the end of the VR missions on the hard difficulty, you fight Kuma, who's from Final Fantasy IX.
Does Kuma happen to be a bear?
No, that's Tekken.
Oh.
Kuma
Kuma is Japanese for bear. That's why I asked.
I never
no,
did.
it's because he's a very flamboyant looking man. You know what I mean? Like he has like a skirt on or a dress or a sash. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what it is. But like, and then just skin everywhere else. Like he basically
Oh,
just
wow.
covered his junk and his nips. And that's his entire wardrobe. But I mean, like, I thought that was a cool little addition because it's someone from another Final Fantasy game, and they used that as the secret boss for the first part of Final Fantasy VII. Now it'd be cool if in this next part that secret boss would be Final Fantasy VIII's Ultimakia or maybe Cypher.
How was the VR stuff?
Well, this isn't like actual VR, like
Oh, you mean the okay, sorry.
Like when you go fight Leviathan and Bahamut and stuff like
Right.
that. So Kuma will be the last one. Like he is the final VR mission in
I
that.
never did do that.
Yeah, no, I didn't do it either, but I've seen it, and it's another one of those fights that Square Enix is famous for. That you can't make a mistake. You literally have your max abilities, and everything like that. Still gonna have a hard ass time. Like that's what's cool about Square Enix is that they give you like the hardest bosses you'll probably ever fight. 12 has probably the dumbest though. Because 12 has this guy who has 3 million hit points, and the max you can do is 10,000, maybe 100,000 if you do a combo. But he's called Tiamat or Yasmat, one of the two. But he's literally like the final hunt in 12, because in 12 you go on these hunts. You're a monster hunter. And the last one is as a worm. You know what a worm is?
Isn't 12 an MMO?
No, that's 11.
Oh.
11 and 14. 12 was the first one that was turn-based light. Like it was turn-based, but you were moving around. It wasn't turn-based. It was just if your attack bar. Hard to explain, really. It's different. And I like 12. It's a little different on its vibe, but it's still a good game. It's about the last good one, though.
Don't people usually rank like 7 and 6 and 10 as like the best ones?
Yeah, 6 has the best story out of all of them, and the best antagonist in the entire series. Because Kefka is like this clown who achieves his goal. Like all he wanted to do, he doesn't want to be king, he doesn't want to rule anything. He just wanted to destroy the world, and he did that.
Like Thanos.
Like
Thanos.
Yeah. Well, no, Thanos had more. Thanos wanted to create equality, or not equality.
Balance.
Balance, that's it. And Kefka literally just wanted the world to be destroyed.
Done.
Yeah, he changed the divine statues that create balance. And once he did that, earthquakes were happening and all the volcanoes and tornadoes and everything just started sweeping the world. Like they all started happening at once, tsunamis and everything, and the world was like shifting like from earthquakes and basically, and what meteors were coming down on the planet. Like it completely destroyed the planet. I didn't play 6, but I do know that that's what he did, Kefka. It's hard for me to kind of get into it. I'm still playing 6 right now, but I mean,
which one is it that has that little guy? He looks like a little wizard, and his like head is like black.
It's BB.
Oh, that's Final Fantasy 8.
That's 9.
Is it 9?
Yeah, Final Fantasy 9 has BB.
Yeah, he's like one of the most iconic characters in the whole series, isn't he?
Yeah, because he's cute.
Right.
He makes a subtle appearance in 16 as a scarecrow.
Yeah, he's also in Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts 2.
Is 9? I've heard 9 is a pretty good one.
9's one of my favorites. 8's my favorite. 9 is probably my second favorite, and 10 is my third favorite.
So basically, 6 through 10 are all you're pretty much, you're gonna have a good time with all those.
Yeah. Every single one, 6 through 10, all of them are have like their own unique strong suit.
I've been thinking about getting the Final Fantasy VI, the Pixel remaster they came out with. I've been
If you
thinking
want
about
like
getting
an
that.
introduction into like how Final Fantasy like kind of my nostalgic, this is only my opinion. This is like, like this is the way. Like, but my opinion is that if you want to kind of like get that nostalgic feeling that I have from it, I find that 8 or 9 actually, even 7. It's kind of hard, really. You could just pick any one. One of them should be fine. If you
Which
want
one of them is more like medieval and like fantasy oriented instead of like futuristic?
9,
7 and 6 are futuristic-ish, right?
7, 6 is futuristic because you literally start the game off in suit and exosuits.
Yeah,
7 is
7 is.
everyone knows 7. 8 is more of a dystopian 1950s world, which is cool. 9 is medieval, 100%. 10 is more Samoan, Hawaiian, very island.
Yeah, I've seen lots of ocean and islands like
Yeah,
imagery with associated with that one.
that one's definitely more of that whole not nautical but tropical. Yeah, it's more tropical, but it's
And
still cool.
those are all turn-based, correct?
Yeah, all of those are
Yeah.
turn-based. Everything 10
And you
is
have to like manage your party do you have to like manage your party and all their inventory and all that stuff and keep
no,
all
you
that like up to date?
inventory. You have to
Huh?
keep up with their leveling. Yeah, but
Hmm.
their inventory is yours. You just have one
I
item.
see.
But so 8 has like a really cool leveling up system that you can apply whatever you get a number of. You don't have MP, you don't have magic points at all. What you have is inventory of your magic spells. So you can have
Yeah,
like 99 fire,
yeah,
99 fire, and so on and so forth. And you can add that to your weapon to create like, if you have like 100 fire gun, you can do your 100% fire damage. Or if you
yeah.
put on stun or death or poison or paralyze, like those effects will go with your weapon.
Right.
And you can change your junction. So like you have 6 people, but instead of sitting there and grinding all 6 of your characters, you can junction everything from one character and move it to that character, which
Hmm.
means so you only have to focus on working on 3 people while the rest, and then just move that junction over when you can't play as that character. It's
So
interesting.
they remade Final Fantasy 1 through 6 in that pixelated format, didn't they?
Yeah.
Just 1 through 6.
Oh, they
Well,
did?
they already did 7 through 10. There's already HD remasters for all 4 of those.
But they didn't do it with like the pixel art.
The what?
Is it pixel art or is it like 3D graphics?
Well, I mean, they're all like higher levels of pixelation.
Okay,
7 being like the most blocky. 8 was still pixelated, but you like see the movements of them.
I
And,
got you.
and that's nice. That's kind of why I got into 8 first. And then
Yeah.
9 is much cleaner, much more crisp. Not too many pixels noticeably. And then 10 is like no pixels at all.
Okay.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up there. I got to feed my son.
Okay.
Pretty good. I
um,
got to feed myself.
but I appreciate you guys getting back on. We'll try to
Oh yeah.
have a consistent. My wife, see last time her schedule was changed to Monday night for her practice. Now it's back to Friday, so hopefully we can just keep it to a Friday schedule. So
Yeah. Mondays and Tuesdays, I won't really be available because those are the days my wife has off, and we usually do stuff.
gotcha. All right, we'll go ahead and end it there, and I'll keep
I've
in
heard
touch
from
with you guys on the
Wednesday.
chat.
All right, guys. We'll talk to y'all later.
All right, bye.
Yeah, man. Have a good
Peace.
one.